Duh.
Yeah, I had that fun thing where I was going back and like trying to work on my overlays and such, and I'm like, I can't remember the last time I actually streamed on my own channel.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm 99% sure it was for Greyhawk, in October, Greyhawk Con.
Really? Okay. No biggie. Good.
So yeah, now I'm logged into Twitch too.
Oh, Patrick's on.
Patrick, can you hear us? I like taking risks, Gallagher. I'm a kind of risky kind of guy. This is going to be a positive discussion. Thank you. This is going to be all positive. Of course, we'll see what happens.
You know how many minutes until we get into Edition Wars here?
I hope not.
No, I hope
Hey,
not.
you know, I can skip the Edition Wars because I got a whole different rule set.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. To me, the whole point is what you and your game group likes. That's the point.
Hey, Alka, what's going on, man? Good to see you. Yes, Robert's on tonight. Robert is CNC expert for the evening, amongst other things. So we're going to talk about a lot of stuff. So.
I mean, until Will gets here, I can handle 5E as well.
Well, exactly. So can Anna, and I can't.
That's true.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Gallagher. I'm alive. I haven't got to Twitch or sorry to Discord and
that's enough of
a little bit. So yeah, I need to.
I mean, at the risk of starting a mass run for the exits, I've actually also run 4E for Greyhawk.
Well, we should discuss it because it led to some things.
I ran 4E for like almost a year, I think. I used it, so I didn't get much. I used it as much as I used PF2 roughly, or a little bit less. I used PF2 and played in PF2 a little bit more than 4E, but so I have limited, but a little bit of insight into 4E.
I only got to play. Actually, I've had the chance to do play one shots for both PF1 and 2, but that only happened within the last year.
Yeah, PF1 I ran for like 10 years, so that's my. I'm thinking. Yeah, it's like the third edition, PF1 third edition, and PF1 is the one that run most games. That's kind of my home edition feels like the one I know the most. Because I consider them the same because it was just slowly going on together.
So Mike.
Hey, Mike. That was my dark ages, where I wasn't doing much gaming, so never got into third edition, never got into
some of the second edition years were a little bit of a dark age for me.
Yeah, I mean, with me, part of it was I had just gotten married, and I wasn't gaming as much. I had a massive financial investment too, and I'm like, I don't have a reason. I couldn't justify starting with 3, and so it never happened.
Yeah.
And by the time we finally got around to starting gaming regularly again, we were on to 4, and then eventually 5.
Yep.
How are you, Mike? Switching that. Tomorrow night, it's Gamescape 3D's giveaway. It's a Christmas holiday giveaway, so I think there's 4 sets or items that we're going to give away 2 of. Now, some of you may have duplicates, but it's going to be a good giveaway tomorrow night. What's up, Eric? Astron? Good to see everyone. Keep on cranking here. Here comes Will. Full crew. Woohoo!
Awesome.
All right.
Hey, Will.
Hello. Welcome.
Hi.
Doing great
Oh,
today. Doing great.
I need to go turn the light off because it's bleeding through my background.
It's kind of.
It looks cool. It's like magical effects.
Yeah. Hold on.
Thus begins 5 straight nights of streams. And Mike is still stuck at 1,001.
There we go.
Arabian Nights.
I didn't think because I just got in like 20 minutes ago, and I was rushing home to make sure I got back in time. And as I'm coming, we had very high winds today,
Really?
and it's like I'm driving through my neighborhood and it's all black. There's no lights.
Oh my gosh.
yeah.
Were you in the
we had
area with
that
the 50
yesterday.
to 60 mile an hour winds with the 100 mile an hour bursts?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
actually,
Oh,
we
wow.
promoted that. We promoted it when it was on a week ago Sunday. So
Yeah, we get all kinds of crazy winds come down off the mountains all the time.
Yeah. So somebody at work was saying they had 50 to 60 mile an hour sustained and then 100 mile an hour bursts. It's like a few raindrops short of a hurricane there.
Oh yeah, we get hurricane force winds sometimes. Literally.
We had like
Yeah.
30 miles an hour winds yesterday and rain. That was like California was like, this is panic. We have weather.
it's gonna be a great
I'd be
crew
in bad
tonight.
shape.
Yeah.
There'd be trees all over the place now.
Well, we had there was some slides and because the ground can't handle any water whatsoever, so everything just skids off the
Yeah,
surface.
so I was gonna say you guys freak out anytime. you get
Oh
rain,
yeah,
right?
but any weather except sunshine and 80 degrees is like freaking Sunny California freaks out as soon as we have any weather whatsoever. It's like, oh, there's a cloud. This is kind of awesome. And then something comes out of the cloud, everybody panics and they send out messages from everywhere saying stay indoors and it's getting dangerous and evacuate or whatever. So yeah. I laugh and say that if we evacuated and sent warnings, that will be warning every day in Sweden because we have that weather almost every day.
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
Good to see everyone on tonight. I actually, as we see the structure board, I actually got something from a sponsor to put on. So, thank you, Troller Games. I got a couple other ones too. Try to figure out how to utilize them. We'll see the owner of Troller Games on. Hey, Bones, what's up? We'll see Little Bones Saturday night. Devin, the Bandit, is back.
Nice.
Yeah. See Steven Chenault on Friday night, along with Zach Glazer from Frog God. It's a packed week.
Yep.
Unfortunately, I'll be a little busy with Steven's overtime.
Okay.
Yeah, Gitano, I'm not running Starship Coordinator in my game. I'll be 85 by the time we finish it. It's only 650 pages. Well, I guarantee Devin will have fun this time around. Well, I'm going to be confused too because I got a Devin and a Dylan now, so I got it's my own fault. So. Cranked up here. All right. Yes. We are here. We're ready for Legends and Lore. Systems used for Greyhawk tonight. 9 edition war version. Billy, just
I
lurk
thought there
away.
were supposed to be a bunch of edition wars here tonight. So
If-
if that's the case, I'm gonna have to go. I was all prepared. I got my
God.
debate
meaning
notes.
Well,
Yeah, meaning, yeah. If you have a favorite edition, you're not welcome here.
okay, we almost started
I think
getting
if there's anybody
Hype
that's
train
qualified
coming.
not to have a favorite edition, it would be me.
Yeah. You're probably the
Thank you.
I'm a little bit favored, but right now I don't know anymore. If you asked me a few years ago, I would say yes, Pathfinder 1 will be my favorite edition. Now I'm kind of, we'll see. Yeah.
I'll say now it depends on my mood.
Yeah, because now I need to switch from Pathfinder 1, and I'm not sure 100% what to switch into. So that's part of, I want to list some criteria and stuff I have for future edition, and then you guys and people in audience and everybody in chat have to tell me which ones they should look into.
And the older I get, the less crunch I want.
Yes, that's exactly. That was one
But
of my points.
I got the game for you?
I like enough crunch.
Have I got the game for you?
And I'm waiting, Mr. Salesman.
Classics and Crusades, as much crunch as you want. Otherwise,
Yeah, that's definitely on my short list. Yeah.
Yeah, let me do this. Let me do this.
So do you know, Rob,
So I
I'm
don't
talking
forget,
with
I'm
Chuck
doing that right
now.
I'm talking to myself,
breaking news.
everyone. Sorry. There we go. Thanks,
Jay,
Armin.
you talking? We're trying to have a conversation.
Yes, I know.
Exactly.
I know. Thank
Yeah,
you. Good evening, everyone. Look at it looks perfect. Whatever I did,
See?
it's set up perfectly in that screen. I got a new monitor today and came in today finally, and so sound hopefully sounds good. Everyone, I'm Jay Kidler Gazumba. Got great guests tonight. First stream of 5 straight nights of streaming. Am I nuts? I guess so. So let's. I got with me the legendary Anna Meyer and the great Greyhawk Mike Bridges,
Hello.
as usual. 2 special guests tonight for this great discussion. Everyone probably knows them. Rob, Phantom, New Jersey. Welcome, Rob. And
Hey, Rob.
sure.
in Cannon Fire, did I ever ask why Giant stopped? William Henry Dvorak from Wicked Studios. Welcome, Will.
Hi. Why am I giant style?
Yeah.
Because it sounded cool.
That's awesome. Hey,
It's like I didn't want to go with just I'm W.H. Dvorak is on a lot of stuff.
right.
And that's boring as hell. So I was like, well, it's something else. So, and I don't know if I got it on Discord first or if I started using it on Twitch first. It's one or the other. I think it was Twitch is where I first used it, and then I started using it in other places. So.
And welcome. Thank you so very much, everyone, for a nice size crowd tonight. As right off the bat, I really appreciate it. We are we're gonna have some fun in this discussion. So once again, this came up from, and we can blame Mike. 'Cause,
Yep.
we're trying to figure. Oh, thank you, Will. Thank you so very much. I need to hit some shout outs out here. So a couple weeks ago, we always go, what are we going to do on Legends and Lore? A couple weeks ago, I'm like, I don't know. So, of course, where do I get inspiration from? I get inspiration from Mike's blog, and I pick a random year, and I click on it, and I just scroll down and see what he talked about. And last year, it was, hey, Mitch, glad to see you got back to California well. And, thank you so very much for hanging out with me, a particular Friday night where we had a blast and a half, doing ICBs and things like that. So, okay, what am I doing here? So let's put this up here. Get up there. So this is a post from Mike. So once again, Mike is to blame on this one. So
It's another one of those polls I used to do.
Yes, one of those polls you did. So we did Greyhawk Mega Dungeons from it last week and this week systems. I figured let's turn this into something positive. Let's turn this into something that's not going to be an edition war, and I think that's a good thing as far as how we can get that done. So here are our giveaways for tonight. Number 1. These are courtesy, of course, of Canadian Ancient Gamer. We'll do some basic and AD&D mix together. Tomoa-Con and a great one by David Cook, Master of the Desert Nomads, and
Dang.
Ghost Tower of Inverness and Quagmire. There you go. Some cool. Mix it up. Mix it up in that. And like I said, giveaways every night. Note, we are at 6,933, 7,000. I give this away at 7,000. Number 7, right? Every 1,000 up to 10,000 followers, I give away Best of the Dragon Volume 3. So, in honor of my favorite publication of all time. So, let's just do a synopsis with the new people. Rob, what are your thoughts on this topic?
Gee, thanks, Jay. Yeah. So my thoughts on this is, first of all, play whatever edition you want. I mean, whatever works for you as a DM, whatever works for your players. I mean, I've got multiple groups of people that I run games for, and sometimes it actually depends on my mood. I mean, different rule sets lend themselves to different play styles, and I just go between them. I mean, I've got my personal favorites right now, and I'm here to rep one of them. But yeah, it's really do what you want to do. Don't the campaign setting doesn't require a specific edition, and don't let anyone tell you otherwise.
Good point. Exactly, and that's why we're going to make this a very positive discussion. Talk about key positives of each edition or each game. How about you, Will? I know you have a different thought.
I'll start off with Rob's wrong.
Uh-oh.
There's only one edition. No, of course not. No, there is no editions for anything. It's role playing is all about preference. So you can use whatever you want. Some systems are more predisposed towards being used in Greyhawk, but again, I guess that would depend on how you run Greyhawk too, right? So somebody, I forget which Facebook channel it was on today. Somebody was asking about what makes Greyhawk. And
Really?
Zerathon was quoting me and getting it terribly wrong. And like for me,
that's Josh.
It's fun,
right?
That's not you. That's just Josh.
No, that's right. But I've always said that Greyhawk is high fantasy characters in a low fantasy setting. So, because that's pretty much how I've always looked at it. If people can walk around with a wish spell, it's pretty high fantasy if you think about it.
That's so true.
Yeah,
point.
But if you take a look at the everything that's written in canon and what have you, for the most part, the cities and the towns and the countries and all that different stuff, that's low fantasy, especially in older editions. I think that there's some creep in the earlier editions. You can see like the levels of the rulers go up as the editions increase, stuff like that. But
yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, but so I like low fantasy Greyhawk. That's my preference. So there's certain systems that are more disposed for low fantasy. So,
and we will discuss that. We will discuss that tonight. And the good thing is, this is how do I say this? With a discussion to give you options for your own game, or to enhance what you're doing, or to, maybe give you a little thought. And that's all. That's all this is.
See what you're missing out on.
Yes, see what you're missing out on, or see what you you may not even know of something, and that's a cool thing. So, Mike, Anna, your thoughts on the topic?
Well, for me, it came at the right time for me, so to speak. It's like I've run now in every D&D session, every D&D edition since the red box set originally, and then Pathfinder 1. That's what I've been running over the years, so to speak. Probably at least 4 or 5 years in each edition, except for 4th edition that I only ran for about a year. And then I ran PF2 for about a year too. And now I'm in the position of I want to switch to something and other than PF1, so to speak. So right now I'm running it in 5e, but I don't know if it's going to be temporary or if that will be my new home for the future. So, but I'm getting old and I don't want to change again ever. So I want to change to something and then stick with it for the rest of my gaming career, so to speak. So this is a momentous decision. So my plan is to take the better part of 2022 to figure out by the end of 2022, I want to know which edition I'm going to run it in the future rule system, and then dedicate myself to it. That's the key. So I want to kind of, I started listing my criteria for a rule system, what I want from it, and Will had a really good point. I'm getting too old for a lot of crunch and numbers and stuff like that. If someone asked me 30 years ago, it was like the more numbers, the more cool stuff, the better. Now I'm like, no way. I'm becoming too seasoned. I played too long. I don't want to see enormous amount of crit tables, and I don't want to see 32 rolls to resolve one round of combat per character or something like that. I'm starting to have different criteria, but it's a topic that is really on the top of my gaming mind now, and have been for a little while, and will be for a while to come. Yeah.
Very, very cool. So note that it began here. Well, really, it began earlier than this, but this is where it began for me. So I have it. It begins here, right? Holmes Basic, all the way in the beginning, where elves are their own class, right?
Yep.
And from this box set, I don't even have dice. I have the prison edition. I have my chits. All right. Put them in a glass, pull them out, right? And you're like, what? No dice. You have 6. I guess you have 6-sided dice at the time, but that's it. And you have your basic rules. And this is what drew me into the game. Pre-Greyhawk, there was no, pre-first edition, pre-AD&D, pre-gnomes in the game, so that's where I started. And there's like the revival to go back there. There's a lot. I see that a lot now, and that's a good thing. There's nothing wrong with that. And I know there's one system that I know Will's been messing around with for a while, that OSE, right? Old School Essentials, that kind of goes back there. Castles and Crusades almost goes back there as well. So we're gonna get a whole gamut of discussion. Let's just talk about this, where we all sit, and then we'll go from there. So if everyone knows from me, and Anna calls at one point Jay, I am first edition, second edition, with a bunch of third edition like feats mixed in. And I got my own, 18, 19 binders all compiled with a lot, but I rely heavily on Arcana, which is up now, the Player's Handbook, all the Player's Handbooks, right? So you got these, you got second edition because there's spells there, there's spells from third edition. So it's not like I'm,
you're still a strict analog player too. That's amazing. You're an analog digital streamer, so to speak. Meaning you embraced internet and streaming, but you're still pure analog in your game style.
Right, exactly. And that's true. Everything, there's nothing on the screen. There's no D&D
game
Beyond,
table,
none of that.
dice.
It's a good point, Anna.
You notes and stuff like that. So you run the classic, not only the classic rule set, but the play style is classic with cool miniatures to add to it.
And the miniature style works for me, and the 1E, 2E, and as we've seen, I think 5E would be a major issue, and we'll talk about
that's
that.
Something you should, but that's something for another show. You should look into see that.
Got it for it.
Yep.
Yeah, I as you saw my pictures from on Gab and Sunday night, I'm hanging on top of my screen the whole time, Mac. I have my screen. Now, I don't need to look at it that much anymore. It's there because it's for comfort level for me. So good point, though. So Mike, how about... Good.
5e is hard for miniature play. I think where the problem comes in is that you're so used to the miniature play how you have it.
Yeah.
It is a completely different set of rules, though. So therein lies the problem.
Yeah.
So it's like movement right there. Okay, there you go. Movement the way you guys do it, and then movement in 5th edition. They're two separate ones.
Absolutely.
So you have to incorporate a whole new thing, and it's like when you've got it all hard baked into your house rules, your homebrew stuff. Oh, forget about it.
Yeah, and Will, the point there is that I can't imagine running an adventure, because we do double characters with 10 PCs, 30 nulls running around, and doing an initiative, move, attack, move. I can't even imagine keep track of it, with all the movement going on before and after attacking, right, Rob? I don't know how I do it.
Yeah. Your combat would last. A single battle for you would last for probably 2 sessions.
Yeah.
They've got getting up there in levels.
They do have initiative by side. You could do that, but the breakup in movement, that's a big different departure.
Yeah.
for between older edition and fifth edition, and I'm not sure, did they do that in fourth or
Fourth? Oh goodness.
now I know they started to get into that in third because they had your full action versus partial action with your movement in third. I know they had that.
If I remember correctly, they simplified it a bit in fourth edition, but you still had but you had discrete move actions, and then you had other actions you could do. But they started the rest systems and all that, so to speak. So it's kind of but there you have one of the, I think the one key, depending on your playstyle, meaning how much miniature based, how much of your theater of the mind, or how much manage things on a tabletop, whether that is a old school tabletop, real one, or virtual, meaning there you have it. Some rule systems are much more suited to theater of the mind than others, so to speak. So so that's one of the,
I would
meaning how much do you do? If you're not keen on maps for VTTs, for instance, then you should run something that is more theater of the mind. Otherwise you will be a big consumer and constantly chasing maps and stuff.
But I think so. Here's the good question as we get to what you're playing, and we'll go to Mike next. Do you pick edition, then play style, or play style, then edition and setting?
I think you should pick play style first, because I think that's more crucial to how you want to play the game, what you want out of it. The rule system is the toolbox, and first you choose what kind of art what you want to paint, or you want to build, or what you want to create, and then you go and find the tool set to create that vision. I think for me that's the way I want to go.
Yeah, I think your style of play will help you pick the edition 100%. So, and if you know that you and your table likes to play this way, then you look at which system requires the least amount of tweaks on your end to get it to where you want it to be.
Good point.
Mike, what do you play now? What do you play?
I'm currently on 5th edition.
Okay.
I would say that we've never given the rule system a consideration of whether or not it would fit with us. We've always just went with the editions as they came out, except for 4th edition. 4th edition I abstained from because we were doing Pathfinder instead.
Okay.
We kind of did a sideways move on that because we were much more into 3.5, and it felt like a sideways move rather than trying to learn new rules at the time. But I don't think it was ever a financial decision either.
So why did you go off Pathfinder and back to 5th at that point? Because they're both
why did we go to 5th then? Because the 3.5 it's more of a cheat, really. I was letting people use Pathfinder classes, but I was still running stuff with 3.5 rules, which for all I know is the same, maybe different. I don't know.
And it says no. There's a few things that are just the odd stuff like non-armed combat and disarm and a few things like that. Those are the obvious differences. Otherwise, all the essentials are the same from 3.5.
Yeah, and so the 3.5 rules just got a little cumbersome for me, and I got tired of the tedious math and builds and all that. So coming to 5th edition then felt like more like going back to basic rules at that point, relatively.
Cool. Will, this is going to be a good one. Because Will's been all over the place.
Yeah. What do I play currently for Greyhawk?
I don't have the book.
I would like to add real quick.
Sure,
that's
please.
What I run. Now, I am playing in a Greyhawk campaign ran by our friend Rich in his own homebrew system called Mayhem, which is percentile based. And that's been a trip. I'm usually not good at learning entirely new rules, but it feels enough like D&D fantasy, medieval fantasy rules that it's easy to
It's percentile based?
Yes.
Rich, I want your. He doesn't share his rules though, does he?
Talk to him. He might. Yep.
Come on, Rich,
He's
hook me
been
up. I'm
developing
a big 100% fan here.
I don't think
He's
he's
been
on
play
yet.
testing it for 10 years.
He's
That's
not
all right.
on
I
yet.
know where to bug him.
Yeah.
Okay, so currently the current champion and ruler, if I run Greyhawk, and when the last stream I had wasn't in this either, and the reason for it is because it's currently not, well, it won't ever be supported on virtual tabletop. So because of that, I didn't do it for ease of role play. But it's a distinct possibility that in the future, because I could do it old school, I don't need to have virtual character sheets. We can get, so long as we got a map and
Right.
the virtual rollers, that's all I need. So my favorite is by Chris Perkins, and it's not that Chris Perkins. It's
No?
Scruffy Grognard. And it's the advanced Dungeons and Dragons 3rd edition. And this is the monster manual that I have here, actually. And basically, if you go on to Scruffy Grognard, and I'll drop it in the chat, he's got essentially, he took advanced Dungeons and Dragons and said, hey, I want to modernize it, but not really change the rule set terribly. So there are still things like it has, the ascending armor class, and he got away. One of the things I hate about old school saving throws is like really Dragon Breath and all this. I like how they go. This is a dexterity saving throw, wisdom saving throw. They streamlined that down. So it's got a lot of those different things in it, but it has all the really cool stuff that you get from old school, like a proper magic resistance rules, things that you don't see at all in, like, say, 5th edition, because they took it out of that for the streamline. Well, he kind of like took all those really crunchy rules from AD&D and he streamlined them and updated them somewhat. I recommend everybody check it out. And he's got a bunch of Greyhawk stuff. He's got a Greyhawk gazetteer for it. He's got a player's guide for Greyhawk. Pretty much everything that he talks about in there. It's all. He made these rules for his Greyhawk campaign. So
you can always, Will, feel free to link any links you want to put in. I mean, we want to give resources
I'll
to people. So
this is, yes, Level Drain is in there too, Dahlgren. And right there, that's the link to Scruffy Grognard, and it'll link to all the stuff that he's done. He has recently just did his version of BX, so it's basic D&D 3rd edition. So he took it and he's taken that and modernized it.
So wait, 3.0 basic or basic? Yeah. Wow,
it's a 3rd edition. It's
so
his
like
3rd edition of
classes.
Correct.
Oh, okay,
So,
got it.
So Alpha is still a class. The different races are classes and stuff. But he's updated it and stuff, and it's such good work, and it's like he cranks it out so fast, and it's pretty mind blowing. It's pretty mind blowing. It's good stuff, really good stuff.
Awesome.
And that's not for sale. It's completely free. So
that what you held up is something you printed.
Something
yourself.
I got printed,
Yeah.
correct.
Yeah.
And he has the PDFs that he have are print ready.
They're really cool. I've looked into
amazing.
it. That's on my odd list to run, so to speak, to use that system. It's like, it's a fictitious 3rd edition. It's kind of
I give Chris a lot of props. He did an awesome job. It is the best mix, because that's the thing that I always am looking for. I'm looking for something that gives me the old school feel with some more modern rules.
Yep.
Streamline things, but I still want all the cool stuff. I want the level drains. I want proper magic resistance. I want undead that are undead, the way that I remember them, sort of thing. But I want it in a little bit more of a modern
you skip Thaco and stuff like that.
Correct. Yeah, it's like, no, what? It's like, seriously.
I'm only the one dumb enough to use Thaco rate still. no one else in the
to me,
world
it's
is.
just-
I'm the only one.
It's just using convoluted math for no reason. I think. That's Thaco. It's meaning it doesn't change anything mathematically more than just complicated. So
Yeah.
it's an
Yeah.
example of things that should be discarded and changed to simplicity, because it doesn't change any outcome whatsoever. It just makes it more complicated.
Right. Now that's not the only system, of course, that I've run Greyhawk in. There are others, but I guess we'll talk about that.
And there's a lot
later.
of systems who have complicated. So Thaco is not the only thing that is that way, but there's a whole plethora of them. But Thaco is, I guess, the most known one, the most obvious one. So yeah.
Apparently, I did a blog post on Scruffy Gardner, so I just put a link in.
There you go. Look at that, Mike. So, thank you very much, Kai. That'll go to 2 heroes tomorrow night because they're going to need them. They will need them. There's Josh. Josh, we were talking about you, of course, and you missed it. So too bad. Josh gets
with
to
all
die.
that having
We'll
with
see
all that
Josh
having
Saturday.
been.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Will, go.
That's all right. With all that having been said, I'm looking into using something that Rob's going to talk about real soon here.
Yes. So, Rob, tell us your evolution to get where you are now. with
Okay,
gaming.
so I started, once upon a time, way back when, with first edition AD&D, moved on to second edition. Missed third edition because real life and lack of playing opportunities, and honestly spending a lot of money on second edition. So when we came back to playing, we were playing fourth edition, or the people that I was playing, my friends, when they started getting back together, we were playing fourth edition. I ran fourth edition for a while, ended up playing fifth edition. I still run a fifth edition campaign for the same friends. It's, we do, I've had a campaign in Greyhawk that's been running for close to 2 years now. By the time February, March hits, it'll be the 2-year mark. However, I've recently, actually, I can't even remember exactly. It probably was because of the fact that they put it up, the PDF for free. But what I consider, honestly, the spiritual successor to second edition, and if we want to talk about, third edition AD&D, I point you to Castles and Crusades, complete with homage cover, because it's beautiful. It's got everything you want from a modern, as far as from a modern game. It's got ascending AC. What it has and what I love is the character classes and races. The initial set from the Player's Handbook is very much in the first edition, second edition. Actually, it's kind of like first edition Unearthed Arcana, because instead of a Cavalier, you've got the Knight, you've got the Barbarian, and all that. It's a very much, you get to certain levels and you get certain abilities. It's, there's no feats, there's no subclass, picking a subclass. It's, your power goes up kind of like, first and second edition, actually really first edition did. What I truly love though is the siege engine system. You have, if you're playing fifth edition, your different checks, perception, insight, whatever, and they're all based on attributes, and whether or not you have taken a proficiency in them, you may get an additional bonus. Yeah, here, we're just going to skip all that, and we're going to just go straight up attribute check. And you work with whatever attribute, the person running the game, the castle keeper, will tell you, roll if you want to do something like that. Seems dexterity would be the thing. Have them roll a dexterity check. Certain classes will have, every class will have a one of their attributes will be considered a primary attribute. Every player gets to choose at least one other attribute to be primary. These give you a better chance of making your skill checks on, based on those attributes. Humans, where, in some places, as far as humans, instead of racial modifiers, they get a third attribute that they can choose to be a primary, which gives them a better chance at, those skill checks. Going back, so, it makes things so much more simpler. the rule of cool is that I want my players to be able to do stuff. I don't want them to say, well, oh god, I don't have this proficiency, I can't do that.
Okay.
Non-weapon proficiencies, no. It is, what do I think the skill should be? What do I want to set the the DC for it? What do I think the difficulty is going to be? Have them roll, let them try it, and go and be heroes. For more old school stuff, though, as far as like the different races, you start off with all the different the basic AD&D races, and all the different types of there's no one dark vision to rule them all. There's twilight vision, there's dark vision, oh god, I can't even remember what the third one is.
What's ultra vision's twilight vision, right?
Ultra vision. Twilight. I think once twilight vision, there's dark vision, and there might be infravision. I'm not sure. I don't remember offhand.
They follow the modern concept of dark vision and stuff, but they call it different. Yeah.
But some of them can see in complete darkness.
Yeah.
Some of them can see outdoors with low light and different effects.
Starlight. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you have a really different feel between all the different races, the different classes. Magic is same as it was in first and second edition. As far as like spell usage is advancing, you gotta mages gotta find spells and gotta copy them into their book, and
I love that.
All that. It is honestly, when I want to play a game that goes very much like first and second edition without all the painful stuff that I remember from back then.
Yeah.
It's all the stuff that just really honestly just got in the way. I mean, the things it was cool back then because we didn't know any better. But now it's just like nobody wants to deal with some of the stuff anymore. And you can still, if you really want to implement it, easy enough to do, but why would you? I mean, it's just crunch for the sake of crunch.
Yeah, crunch for the sake of crunch. Was the highlight, right, in 3.5, correct?
After 10th level, you got that right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It really got top heavy.
Yep.
Yeah, it got to the point where you were, and I know, and we've heard this in many Living Greyhawk discussions, they didn't want to run 16th level characters because you couldn't, combat was like, and they're attacking stuff with 50 armor class, So
but I also think that there is a merit to it. That it's also part of playstyle. For some players, the actual game mechanics are one of the key pillars in game. They want to have lots of cool pluses and minuses and feel like my character have made an advancement. So for some people, when you play the game, to have a complicated character sheet with cool stuff is an essential part of the game to feel like you actually gain something. They don't want discussion club and improv sessions the most, so to speak. They want it to be a game where you can kind of get a cool things that numerically give you an advantage and calculate odds and stuff like that. So and that's something we really have to respect. That there's nothing wrong with that play style. It's a cool play style that has definitely its home in D&D, but it doesn't suit everybody, so to speak.
Big read.
Robert Hartley, GM. I think Robert, good to see you, man. We need to talk. Robert is a fellow D&D, I believe 5e partner. And look at all the new people coming in. Nice. Very nice. Hang out, please. Hey, GM Workshop, good to see you. Robert, it's an honor for you to come in. Thank you. We're talking some. We're talking. It's not Edition Wars. We're talking. We're talking systems with Greyhawk tonight on Legends and Lore. Please hang out. We got 2 giveaways tonight as well. 2 sets of giveaways, and I'm really happy to see you guys all come in, guys and gals. Thank you.
Then they call those optimizers, like
Yeah.
3.5 in
One.
Pathfinders was
But
an
I think, yeah.
optimizer's dream.
Yeah, but I
And
think
match
that
with
is
the
a valid
Those
dimension
two
in your
sets.
playstyle, meaning
Oh, for
how
sure.
much game mechanics and how much game do you want, or how much RP and how much mechanics, and the taste is different, and that's one element of the game that some people want more of and other people want less of, and I think the important bit is that you should choose the game system after how much of a game with game mechanics you're after, so to speak, how much that satisfies you. Or some people see it as a
Yes.
hindrance, and some people see it as the essential cool thing. I got a +5 sword and it does all these kind of cool things, and it gives me this numerical advantage, and that increases the odds like that. If you're that
Yeah.
type of player, then there are game systems for you. If you think that doing all that stuff is kind of gets in the way of expressing yourself at the game table, then choose another game system.
Yeah, it's all table style.
Yep.
You know,
Something nice.
if your characters want to do way more
Yep.
role playing than
Yeah.
combat, well,
Yeah, and I also think it's part of where in your game career, for me, it was like I had a decade or so where I loved that stuff. That was, for me, that was the cool thing to do. Now I'm like, nah, not so much. So that can also change. Sometimes you love it as a gamer, and then sometimes maybe later or earlier you want to go in easier, and then you go whole hog for a decade, and then you kind of, I want to change again.
Yeah.
So that
Well,
can change over.
That's why you keep your books.
Exactly. Yeah.
Except some of us
Yeah.
dumb
So-
players who just can't change, right? But that's not true, because we add stuff to the system. That's the difference between a lot of things that I do and some of the other, this is not a slight on anyone, but I take my 1E2E and I make changes to it, adding feats into the proficiency system, adding spells, right? Adding classes, I love to take, because, let's be honest, I can't cheat. I'll be lucky if I ever teach my guys anything new beyond a new system, right? I can bust on them all day long. Yeah, Will's laughing because
Yeah.
Can you imagine?
You-
Yeah, Tim playing 5th edition. Do you have a mysterious Tim?
Oh, I would. That'd be pretty
Maybe,
awesome,
yeah.
actually.
Yeah.
I tell you, I could picture Tim playing Castle and Crusades.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yes,
Yeah,
but
I-
that's
I think-
yes,
yeah.
yes,
We're not
absolutely.
Actually, and it's funny because one of the things talking about systems used for Greyhawk, and it's an issue not so much with 5e itself, because I still enjoy running 5e, and I've got a tabletop game with a lot of the same players who, when we finally get back to the table as a separate campaign, it's going to continue in 5e because that's what they enjoy. At a certain level, I was having a hard time keeping them in the campaign setting without them just pretty much laying waste to the campaign setting, because the level of powers that they had, I mean, they're 12th level now, and I've got them in the Feywild because I don't, I'm like trying to keep the campaign setting kind of intact, because I want to
you
do
kicked
kind
them
of a
off
living
to
world.
off into reservation so that you
Yeah,
screwed up.
to be really honest, because
That's
the
a
level
good
of
move.
power that they have at 12th level
Yep.
is staggering. I mean, with the different feats and
Yep.
abilities that they've taken, and it's like,
To tell you the
want
truth,
something that's scaled.
with 5th edition, you're right about that, but I think where 5th edition fell down is it didn't keep up with the monsters and the objectives.
Yeah.
Like their CR for calculating stuff is complete trash. I mean, if you're not factoring in magical items and weapons into this calculation, what the hell is it for? I mean,
All right. Yeah, I mean, even beyond that, just having 2 casters in the party. My party has there's only 4 players. They've got a wizard and a sorcerer, and they just utterly wait. I mean, and they're good at tactics
overseas.
too.
But I
They
think
just
that there's
basically
two good dimensions here that most people don't look at when they look at rule systems. One of them is meaning, what are the tools to build tools, meaning what are the monster creation tools and rules, and what are the aids that comes with them. Some rule systems simply don't have that. They have a monster book, and then you have to come up with yourself. You don't get much guidelines and help. Other rule systems are full of that. And the other dimension is the rules for world building. Like Robert said, that my character is going to screw up my whole world. Meaning, how much how much rule is built in the rule set to manage a world, meaning for settlements, for power factions and gods and whatnot. Some it's just a discussion thing, and there's no hard rules. And other rule systems comes with volumes of stuff how to manage things like that. And those are also things to consider depending on your world build style and your DMing style.
Thanks, Patrick. All right, so you ready? I'm gonna say something you're all gonna laugh at. What the hell's CR? I know what that is.
Challenge rating.
There is no challenge rating in 1E2E.
Well, you don't have to use it in 5E either.
That's what I mean.
No, you can just
Actually, I'll go a step further. You don't want to use it in 5E because, as Will said, it's terrible. It's trash.
I played long enough to know enough to know what I can use to crush someone or not, right? But I can understand for a new DM and for people new to the game, it's important, and that's cool. But
which is funny too, because 5e is like really it's a great game for getting people into D&D that have never role played.
Absolutely.
It is streamlined, it's simple, it's really great for that, but it's not necessarily the best when it comes to being a dungeon master as far as the tools they provide. If you want go to Mike Shea's Lazy Dungeon Master series. That is by far better for being a dungeon master than anything in the DMG.
Yeah.
Mike is awesome. We had Mike on Gavin the one time. I should have him back. I'm also trying to get him in its game as a special guest. So,
by the way, one more thing in Castle Crusade's favor, it is the same rule set that it was when it released in 2004.
Yeah, it's stable.
They do. I mean, they add content. They'll move things around in the various books when they realize after they've released enough stuff, they'll look at it and say, okay, this is probably better suited here than there and such. But otherwise, it is the same rule set with some very, very minor alterations since it was in 2004. And if you've played any of the early editions, it's so easy to get into. The Player's Handbook, the 7th printing of the Player's Handbook, is still free in digital format.
Yes, it is.
That and the Castle Keeper having the Monsters and Treasures book, that's all you need. And honestly, if you have a 1st or 2nd edition monster manual, you can trivially just convert all those. And I'm sorry, guys, Troller Games, I don't hate to ruin your sales here, but you could take your old monster manuals and convert everything, and away you go. Start a game easily.
So no, Chuck is GMing with so he's not on now, and we have Steven on in 2 nights. So there you go. So we'll get some Controller Games is such a great sponsor of this channel too. They've never said no to us for anything we've asked, and it's got you for tomorrow night, Fuzz. Thank you. So I was very happy with these. These are beautiful books. I got that, and I got the character sheets, and then I got this. I know you got a lot more than I did there. Rob, you got show that book you got, by the way. That is so beautiful. I got this. The Player Archive came with this, right?
Yes.
So.
Oh, by the way, if you look in the Player Archive, I'd like to note, Jay, that they have elves and dwarves and a couple other things as character classes.
Oh,
it's
cool.
It's from one of their other supplements. I don't remember which one, but if you wanted to play a dwarf or an elf as a character class, it's in the Player Archive. Quick thing for those who are not aware, the Player Archive, what they did was they released an additional supplement that takes all of their character classes that they've ever released up until that point and put it in one book. So, you take that and supplement your Player's Handbook with it. But
is that Haunted Highlands too? Is the Haunted Highlands stuff in there too, or is that still separate?
If it was out at the time, it's probably the character classes might be in there. I'm not sure. I can't.
Okay.
I didn't get a chance to go look at it. But part of the new Player's Handbook printing Kickstarter was in the collector's edition.
Look at that. You got to get it closer. Yeah, and also show what's on there. Your name is engraved.
Yes, got my name at the bottom of that.
Isn't that that's crazy? So this is not a show to just to promote Castle Crusades, but just note the following: They have there's multiple systems that are retro back, right? And that is this too. This box is too nice to open up. So I got this from Frog God, Sword and Wizardry.
Swords and Wizardry.
Okay, I know someone in chat said that they played this live. Was that you, Sparky? You played Swords and Wizardry, which is very basic, and then we have. Do you have any?
That's OD&D based.
Yeah. Was it Will? Do you have any OSE books there?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I have, because I kickstarted the. You got here's the referees tome. They're smaller.
Right.
So this is the old school essentials, and the original old school essentials was based off of I want to say, no, it's not BX. What's the one? I'm blinking. What's the one in between Holmes and
CMI?
It's not Beckme.
Moldvay.
Yeah. But then they also put out the advanced old school editions. So these are actually really, really cool. If you like the original basic D&D expert, basic and expert editions, I would highly recommend
Thank you.
getting a hold of these. It's the same rules. They do have optional rules in it in case you want ascending armor class and things like that. But it takes all those rules, and the layout is awesome. It is to die for. It is really, really well done, really put together, well presented. So I actually played this for a while. I actually ran when we were doing it's this age. I can't remember the last stream I did. It was Streets of Lukesh. Thank you. When I was doing that, we used the old school's essentials for it, because I was looking for something that was more streamlined and more closer towards that original basic. And these are great. These are great. I would prefer something a little bit still even more tweaked. Like, it still has the original saving throws. So like, if you're used to the, dragon breath, death save, and all that different stuff, that's how they do saving throws in here, which is still, I don't really prefer that. I like the newer ones with where it's based off of the attributes and what have you. But I mean, these are really high quality. It's really good stuff, actually.
I forgot to put Ostrich in there. The Ostrich book did.
Yeah.
Ostrich?
Oh man.
Like Blade Publishing.
You've got Labyrinth Lord in there?
No, I don't.
Maybe
Anyway,
there's
go
a ton of cool old school, Dungeon Crawl classics, Hackmaster, meaning there's lots of them cool ones.
Pathfinder 1E and 2E.
What was it, Tiny 20 or something? Whatever. It's like a
Tiny Dungeon.
Tiny Dungeon, yeah. Like, if you want
Yep.
simplicity, that's your system, so to speak. It's super,
You got
super,
that
super
right.
simple. Yep. It's so simple. What is it, like 5 pages or something? It's
Was the rules? Yeah, just the rules.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's so simple that is kind of crazy. So yeah, you can have the whole rule system easily on your tablet or phone, so to speak, and just look at it. It's super simple. Tiny D6 games. Yeah, so meaning that there's the whole gamut of stuff. But I've listed 7 criteria for how I want to go about choosing my next rule system, and then I have a bunch of them that I think more or less fulfill these criteria, so to speak. Man, let me just quick run through the 7 criteria I have.
Okay.
The first one, I want since I'm going to run exclusively Greyhawk, I want a fantasy rule set that is compatible with Greyhawk, meaning I want the spells, I want undead and stuff like that. Be it some form of D&D-esque rule system. That's rule number 1. And then it needs to be comprehensive, meaning it includes time exploration and world building and stuff like that, apart from just the basic character management and stuff. That needs to be. And I want something that is mid-level complexity with a flair of storytelling, because I think that mechanics is second place. It's still important, but it's not the thing for me anymore. So I want mid-level complexity with a flair of storytelling. And I want robust and comprehensive digital tool support, meaning I want it built into VTTs and stuff like that. I want more than one tool to choose from when it comes to digital tools. And then I want another form of things when it comes to digital. I want the content as PDFs or as some text format on a website or something that I can legally extract and put into whatever campaign management tool I'm using. I want to be able to legally do that without having to resort to pirated download PDFs or whatever of stuff that I bought and purchased. So that's another criteria, meaning 5e is difficult. D&D Beyond, they lock it in and make it difficult to extract the data. So I want it out. And also I want a player base that has a taste of the same game style that I do, sandbox, and have that kind of rule mindset in play, so to speak. That's one of the other. And the seventh criteria that is kind of important too, I want the D&D connection, and if possible, something that keeps at least one toe into the 5e world and the current D&D world. So I don't want to go completely away from it, because 5e and what Wizards of the Coast and D&D is doing currently, it affects me to somewhat. I don't want to distance myself from the current new generation of players and then want to be a little island in Grognardia, so to speak. I want to have at least, if possible, I want to have one foot or one toe in the 5e modern contemporary D&D world. I'm not sure if that's possible. That's why I listed that one last, because if need be, I can say, okay, I want to be Grognard and don't listen to any of the young players, but that's an option I want to have open. Those are my criteria for choosing a rule system.
Is that it?
So,
Yeah.
So
the only one with a tool set is 5e, and that's D&D Beyond, but you can't extract from it. So you
exactly. That's skip it. But a lot of the other ones have it. And now I'm listing the rule system that I think, and this is where I want you guys and people in chat and stuff to correct me and add cool stuff. So my favorite rule systems that I think either from playing them or just knowing them a little bit, think that will score the highest on these 7 criteria are Level Up, Advanced 5e from
I was just going to recommend that.
They are in when it comes to points. I haven't played. I pledged on the Kickstarter and I read through the PDFs. I haven't played it, but reading through the PDFs and looking at the material and everything, I think they scored the highest on all of the points. And second, I'm hesitantly second, so to speak, is D&D 5e. They have problems with extracting and stuff like that, but there are ways around it. That little bit of a hoop, but so it works because they still have an SRD that has like 80% of the material, so that might work. And then we have the 2 runner-ups in my favorite, and those are Castle and Crusade and Pathfinder 2. And Pathfinder 2 is the rule set that I like mechanically the best of all of them in a lot of ways. The problem with Pathfinder 2 is that that's one step removed from the D&D and special Greyhawk community in some ways.
Yeah.
And it also has a player base that is not catering to my play style that much. I figured out, so to speak. Pathfinder players are awesome, but they usually play the game differently than I do. So that's one of the downsides to the Pathfinder's 2 rule sets, so to speak. And then there is the lazy option. Stay with PF1, don't do anything, just continue and ignore it. That's my lazy option. So and then I have 3 dark horses that are kind of cool, but I don't know. And the first one is a rare bird, so to speak, True 20. The True 20 rule set that I really it's really cool. And it's from Green Ronin, and it's kind of funny. They just used the D20. It's a D20 like 3.5 edition era rule set, but with very tweaked math, so it's not anywhere near as math heavy, and it has some really cool. They done away with classes, that done away with hit points and stuff. I really like the approach. The problem is VTT support. The problem is player base and stuff. And the other one, Dark Horse, is Savage Worlds. That is kind of, it's a step away. I know it's a step away, but I'm slightly intrigued with it. I don't think I will choose it, but I just need to mention it, so to speak. And then we have RuneQuest, which is the same thing as Savage World. It's a big step away from the D&D community, but it's on a lot of the technical points. I think RuneQuest can strike high, but it falls flat on the connection to Greyhawk and D&D community. So those are my kind of the. my
So-
listings. Yeah.
So where to dig in?
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
I mean, for like Castle and Crusades, the part that you're going to run probably into the biggest issues with is in terms of digital tools.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think there's at least one VTT that somebody has.
Fantasy Grounds and
Well,
Roll20
Fantasy
have them.
Grounds.
Okay.
Let's.
Okay. That's, I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
I haven't,
Will and
I
I
don't
have a
use,
secret.
as a general rule, I don't use VTTs, so I
Yeah.
can't even speak to that.
Yeah.
Same.
Now, interestingly enough, the digital, I mean, digitals, you can get, actually, I have
PDFs
I
and
ha-
stuff. Yeah. Yeah.
PDFs. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
and not
Castle
only
and
that-
Crusade and Paizo are the best, and also Ian World with Level Up. They
And-
score the top on those points. Yeah.
And the other interesting thing is you mentioned 5e. Depending on how, I mean, when you, maybe I'm misunderstanding as far as like keeping close to 5e, because Troller Games releases most of their Castle and Crusade content eventually at some point in a 5e format as well. You can get it in a 5e
Yeah,
format
but
as well.
to me, it's
If-
like I
yeah.
want a rule set so I can, when I play and convert, if I want to need for a
Mhm.
convention or something online, whatever, to run my Greyhawk campaign using 5e, it shouldn't be like, oh damn, I need to redevelop everything, so to speak. So that's that's my point with 5e
Yeah.
connection.
I would, you know, for that, what I'd probably do is I'd probably like grab a couple of the modules and just see what the differences are.
Yeah.
Where do they
Mhm.
change?
Yeah.
Because I have, and it's funny because I actually have, because of various giveaways and such, I have some of the 5e content. I haven't actually looked at them yet to see what the differences are. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I would probably go and do a differential, see what it is they change to make this work.
Yeah.
The biggest
yeah.
benefits I would say for CNC, besides this digital stuff, is the fact that that community and the owner and Chuck are extremely approachable. That is
Yes.
a very
Mhm.
close
That's it.
community that you
Exactly.
can work with on
Yep.
stuff.
Mhm.
So
Yep.
that is like a bonus that you're going
Mhm.
to get over something like, say, some of the other systems.
Yep.
You know.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Now, as far as
Okay.
level up, see, here's the thing about level up. I went through and it was part of all that distribution of, you know, the play test stuff, and they're sending the things out. And while all this different stuff that they did was really cool and really good,
Mm-hmm.
it is very detached from how much of the old school do you want brewed into it? Because I saw that they're going advanced 5th edition. I was like, sweet, are they going to bring back a level drain?
No.
Blah blah blah. You know,
No.
none of that
No,
stuff's in there.
It's
All they
still
did is-
5e.
and all
Level
they
up
did is give you options,
Exactly, yeah,
more options, and
mhm.
more
Yeah,
options.
they added a layer of options, and they
Right.
also world building, exploration, and the monster creation and stuff. They filled in the empty holes in 5e
Right.
and added, but it's still 5e. It plays like 5e. It has the mechanics of 5e and the whole
Exactly.
shebang. So
So
yeah.
does that mean is 5e the? Do you like the nerf?
no,
Because
no.
that's the only part of it.
the
You're
thing
gonna
is that
what
I-
you'll have to tweak.
Yeah, as
You
a
know?
DM, and that's the weird thing. As a DM, I kind of like it because it's so damn simple. You don't have to
Isn't it the
think about
truth?
it. You just hand out the damage and say it's radiant damage, it's necrotic
Mhm.
damage, and just hand it out and sort it out. Meaning it runs very simple, very straightforward. Don't worry about it. So in some ways, I like it, so to speak. But
And level
yeah.
up will be then compatible with 5.2 or 6th edition. Supposedly,
it will-
So
yes. So level up have a lot of the problem with level up is that it's an unknown card yet, so to speak. It's but it
All
comes to the player, but you can
but it's end world. That's-
exactly, yeah.
You know. So,
Also, Pathfinder 2's got that agreement now with whatever all the
Demiplane.
people. Which one?
Nexus, yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Demiplane.
Demiplane. So it's
Yeah.
basically the original people who created D&D Beyond. have
Yeah.
all-
Yeah, but
Done.
that will not be the tool for me. But the good thing is Paizo has a robust PDF service that is
Did
fantastic.
a bunch of people leave D&D Beyond?
Yes.
Yes,
Oh, yeah,
the
I
the
didn't hear
original-
about this.
Oh yeah, they
About
started
5 months
Demiplane instead. So yeah.
Oh,
Wow, was
Yeah.
it that? Oh, well
Mhm.
that. Oh, okay, that
Five,
means a
six,
lot.
5-6 months ago.
Okay, well, yeah, because they see the writing on the wall. So,
Mhm.
hey, if you're playing 5e, everybody, and you like D&D Beyond, I'm
Mhm.
going to apologize and say I'm sorry right now because that sucker's going to probably go away right now.
Yep.
They're also it is the same people. Bloodwild. It's going to be Demiplane. They're going to be D&D Beyond for everybody else. They're doing World of Darkness. They're doing
Smart.
the Free League or whatever it is. That has like a bunch of different games.
Yeah.
So they're going to
because D&D Beyond's about to get the only thing that they'll have on there is they'll have no more original new content when they release this 5.2 or 6th edition, whatever it is, because they're already talking about their own digital stuff. So if
we don't know.
Wizards
It's
releases it, they'll have
guess.
it. They'll have the exclusivity to the new content, and then none of that stuff will be going to D&D Beyond, which is a shame. You would think that they would just buy it,
which makes me think there's somebody there is not thinking very smartly.
Well, it's a big company.
Yeah,
of course you're not thinking good.
But sorry, go on, Jake.
I was gonna do a question. It was a statement. It was so far back I didn't want to lose it because it's from our first ever sub Naz. Controversial opinion: 5e isn't simple, especially compared to pre-3e and OSR titles. My players have played 5e for 3+ years and still do not understand what they can do on their turn or their class features.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Naz, I don't know what to say to that. I mean, we taught a 8-year-old how to play 5e, so
yeah.
And
you know how we're always saying you gotta run according to your table.
Yeah, but it is the core things are fairly simple and straightforward. There are a few things to complicate it, but on the other hand, there is not that. I want more depth, so to speak. I want a little bit cooler magic systems, and that's one of my problems when I read through the C&C rules. Is that I want more robust schools of magic and stuff, so I can kind of figure out what kind of spells can a bard research or a druid and stuff like that. So that's something I can help
scratch 3 off your list right away.
Okay,
let's hear it.
Perfect. Thank you.
Okay,
Yep.
True 20.
Yep.
Great system. There's no support for that sort of thing. It's dead. It's gone. Sure, it's still in print, but there's nothing ever going to come out of that.
Yeah.
And you're going to have to house rule a ton of that stuff.
Yep.
So you can just cross that one off.
Okay, good. Yep, we crossed that one.
Savage Worlds.
Yeah.
While Savage Worlds is great for running, I ran a long campaign, a long fantasy campaign with Savage Worlds, Tales of a Savage Land, and it's a bad high level thing, and it's all or nothing. Combats last forever, and it's either it hits or it doesn't. It hits or it doesn't, and it doesn't. You can, and you're talking about extremely high level and powerful characters, and it's the same thing. It's like you hit or you don't. You hit or you don't, and it's basically it's all boring. It's all on the luck of the dice and them exploding more than it is on the build and the strategy.
Or luck of the draw.
Yeah. Oh, exactly. So I would take Savage Worlds. It's great for low level one shots of non-fantasy,
but not
games.
Building a fancy long term.
No way. I would never use it for
then
that.
We skip that one.
Rune Quest.
Yeah.
I love percentile systems, and I'm personally a fan of percentile in fantasy, but that is a very small majority of people. And you don't get the same thrill. You don't roll 20s in that. You know
exactly.
What I mean?
That's the thing. I want to roll my 20s.
20. That is never happening in one of those games. There's a lot of people who just, for when it comes to fantasy, roll 20. And if you've got the right people that are playing with you, it could work. But that is a very small of the population.
Then you have a smaller player base all of a sudden.
Extremely smaller player base.
That's why I listed them as dark horses, because I wanted this debate. So thank you, Will. So we can.
Yeah, I'd get rid of all 3 of those.
Yeah, they're good. Yeah, then we good. Then we have the favorite version or meeting the Pathfinder 2. That is the oddest one out for some reasons. It feels like among my favorite of Level Up, D&D 5e, Castellan's Crusades, and then Pathfinder 2. There might be other ones that should be on that favorite list, but those are simply the ones that I have read through or played extensively, or more or less, so to speak. So I have experience of them. And to be honest, I like the mechanics in 5e. The problem, in PF2 a lot. I really, really do. They're very polished and they have a lot of variety built in and cool things. The problem is that the player base have a different play style than what I'm used to, and that's one of the problems. And a lot of the D&D players, then you have to teach them a system that is more different than any of the D&D editions, so to speak.
Yeah, it's highly optimized, just like PF1.
Yeah, it's polished, plays well, fast, and it's very, very well balanced.
PF2 lost me when they started introducing more conditions. I was like, are you kidding me?
Yeah, but it's kind of, but the mechanics, there's a simple, if you understand the simple mechanics, it's go through the whole, there's one system for the whole game, period. Everything you do follows the same system. So you understand it once, and then
I've never played it.
Yeah, so that's the beauty. It's complex simplicity.
I want to put something out to chat.
So it's the odd one out, so to speak. And I like the rule system, but the players usually, when I played it, they have a different play style than I have. So
we're not slamming any system. What we're doing is
and they all have
campaigning. This is what we're talking about for a Greyhawk campaign. Like Savage Worlds may be great for fantasy or a sci-fi or whatever, according to Will, but he's saying high level combat is a problem. Is that what you're saying, Will?
Oh yeah, 100%.
There is the odd
he's done on stream.
Because Pathfinder 1 is available in Savage World style.
Okay.
I never looked into it, but it's just the odd one out.
I got it. I have yet to read it. So.
Okay. Yeah.
It's also cool to try stuff. There's nothing wrong with trying any kind of system you want. Absolutely. This is observations from the panel that we put together with people who played a lot of different systems, and that's and this is information you take and you wean from it what you want.
Well, I think part of it too is you have to take a look at what you want out of a fantasy system. Are you looking for a long-term progression for characters in a storyline?
Oh yeah, I want to be able to run them for 5 years.
Then the rules have to support that. So if you've got now part of that too is if you've got a progression, do you want the progression to be chartable, aka just like when you do in karate and stuff like that, they give you belts, you see it, you know that you're going up and you're progressing, aka levels 1 through 20, you get to see a progression and you know it. A system that is based on skills, it's a lot harder to see that. You don't have a level, so it's like, is that copacetic? That
is more hung up for the players than me, so to speak, as a DM. I just want to have a general idea of how powerful they are. I don't need to have it nailed down in numerics, so to speak. But for some players, I can totally understand that's one of the main reasons you play, is that you want that cool token and the badge of having that cool sword that can do that, or cast that signature spell in as many times you want with some cool twists or whatever it is. So
because like I will say my favorite systems are D100 systems, and I can play D100 systems in fantasy and have a great time. It's not part of the general populace at large. They don't. And that's just the fact. So if you're looking for, if you've got to go out and put together a group of people, or you have to present it to your current group, what are the chances that everybody, if all your group, if all your group,
that's why I switched from PF2 to 5e to begin with, because the most of the game group were like, well, we play 5e already, so let's do 5e, because there was only one PF2 player, and he didn't like my play style that much, so he wanted a different play style too. So then it was kind of okay, 5e, it's the way. And and I realize I'm going to run games in 5e now and then anyway. So 5e is part of it. So that's why level up is kind of a very interesting kind of thing there, so to speak. It nags the right points. But on the other hand, Castle and Crusades have so many cool things going for it, meaning it has the original feel of something you played forever. I don't need to learn it much. I can house rule things in. I can build a slightly more advanced magic system than Castle and Crusade have. I can easily bolt extra metadata on spells to kind of classify them differently, or more to my style, so to speak. That's something I can easily bolt on top. and the player base, I don't think will be, a lot of people in Greyhawk community, I don't think will mind playing C&C in a Greyhawk campaign. So it's
I mean, literally in the last year alone, I probably have run 20 different people through their first Castles and Crusades game. And And I mean, to single person, all of them either are already playing again with me or want to play again.
Yeah.
And again, talking about as far as like building is, all the stuff that doesn't have in the base game, like to make it more Greyhawk centric, the different schools of magic, the different things that are more Greyhawk specific, or things that in the different Dragon magazines. I'm not at all concerned about what it would take to bring them over. It's not. It's close enough that to first, second edition that I can easily port things over and make it work. And it's not going to be some what happens at a certain level. I already have that feel for it. I can it's easy enough to teach if you have any D&D experience whatsoever. Walking some, I mean, I've most of the people that I've taught to play Castle and Crusades, half of it had been during a stream game, and they had it within the first, after the first combat, they were all set. It didn't take anything. It's just so easy to teach, it's easy to learn, and easy to run. Honestly,
I'm gonna make an observation here.
Yeah.
It sounds like a lot of systems have a problem with higher level play.
Yes, they do.
I don't have that problem.
That's why you should print your rule set, Jay.
You played a super high level one that one night for the first fundraiser we did. And I was throwing around super beholders and 16th level wizards throwing, Tim's carrying 18th level thief running around. I don't have the problem.
No, but I think that, to be honest, I think it has less to do with the rule system and more to do with your play style.
Okay.
The way you handle the table and the players and keep an eye on things, you kind of make sure that there is not too much min-maxing, that there is you keep things within the rules and you tighten it up. So it's your play style as much as the rule system, I think.
Okay.
And your adjudication at the table, so to speak.
Okay.
That's a big part of it, I think.
So here's what and Mike, if you got any comments on this added discussion, please chime in as well, because I know
they've gone way into the weeds for me, Jay.
All right.
sorry.
That's okay. Mike's like, oh my god. So
like, talking about some of that stuff, it's not even considering. I'm the opposite of Anna. So continue.
Because you like whatever's put out, that's what you're running.
By the book, we play.
There's nothing wrong with that.
I don't put any planning into like.
I just learned something in chat that there's no Holy Avengers or +5 in 5th edition. When did that happen?
You can just
there's one type of shield in 5th edition.
It's shield. What?
It's a lashback from 4th and 5th edition.
Yep.
Oh my gosh.
So you've got creatures that. Okay, Anna, how much in PF1 is an Ancient Red Dragon's plus to hit?
Oh, it's probably up in the 60 or something like that, almost. Yeah. I mean, that's one of my problems with PF1 was that armor class and to hits, they inflate like in Germany in the 1920s or 30s, or like the inflation from the Great Depression. Meaning it is depressing.
I was looking around at. I'm doing some stuff for a forest giant that I'm creating, and I was going through and I was like, okay, I want to put it together for a couple of different editions. And I went through and it's like, okay, so like I'm looking at different other existing giants to model it off of, and I'm looking at the 3.5 mountain giant.
Yep.
Oh my god.
Plus 41 to hit.
But you can have like in PF1 you can literally have creatures that have armor class up in the 50s.
Oh yeah.
And but you can also have a character build that is so specialized that if he meets that whatever creature that has it, can get like almost plus 60 to hit, so to speak, with all the right combination of feat, equipment, high basic attack bonus, etc., blah blah blah, going on, and in the right circumstances, it can reach enormous amount of pluses.
Exactly.
Which means that that if you are a 10th level character or above and you meet someone who's first level, they can't even hit you. That is like mathematically impossible. And the way I rounded it was that I made flanking stack. So if you were 10, gang up 10 of them, so to speak, you got plus
Which is
10.
that's a good rule. That's a good rule.
Yeah. So that was my way around it, so to speak.
That's so when 5th edition rolled around, it's like we're going to cap some of these damn numbers.
Exactly, and they did really well. And so both 5th edition and PF2 have nerfed the numbers so they don't inflate like crazy anymore, which I think is really good. So both of these systems have reined in the numbers significantly and run a mathematically tight ship, so to speak. So no big inflation.
All right. So based Greyhawk, what is everyone going to like? Will, you've told me you're going to come back streaming. Mike, you're going to be running some games. Anna's probably still deciding, but maybe she's come up with a decision, and we probably kind of know what Rob is going. What will you be going with in 2022? It could be multiple things, and why. Let's start with Mike.
What am I going to go with in
system-wise?
2022?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I am still running 5th edition. I'm currently running Studying of the Hill Giant Chief.
Nice.
On like a once a month basis with a couple of my friends. Sometimes we even break out a battle mat and look, Jay, these are all my giants.
Yes, you need minis.
Counters.
Oh, counters. I'm sorry.
Counters.
Same difference.
So
they're just flat minis.
I'm economical with my
flat
time
minis are
and
good.
Space. Yeah, flat minis. So yeah, a lot of 5th edition. I'm playing in 5th edition, running 5th edition, playing in Rich's game. Told you about. That's weekly. We got GaryCon coming up in March.
Yes.
I'm thinking of bringing a pickup game with me, just in case some of you have some free time. And I'm considering running it with this.
Ooh.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
That will be
we'll see.
A flashback. Yeah.
Yeah, break out the graph paper.
Yeah.
So, okay. Here's my question: do you use any of the other supplements that are out there? Use anything from Mike Shea or any, or is it 5e right from the book?
So far, yeah, I've pretty much been straight from the core stuff. I like reading about other people's supplements and things. It's real hard. I think 2E was really my golden age of experimentation. Back in 2E, I would use stuff out of Dragon Magazine all the time and try to incorporate it into my games, house rolling and whatnot. I also have this little prop here, this little binder thing. I would come up with my own 2E house rules. Like when they got too high level, I came up with a well, you guys can't see it, but I came up with a fumble crit chart for when you fumbled on a 2 and a 1.
Nice.
So I figured, well, these guys are getting so tough that I'm going to make 2s and 1s miss, auto miss. So, but yeah, 2nd edition, I don't know if we were younger, our minds were just on the game more, we experimented more. Then when you get in 3rd edition, then it's all about flat book, and which is really hard to keep up with. And so to add third-party publisher stuff into it, I usually will listen to other people like Will talking about Scruffy Gognard. I completely forgot about that after I wrote about him. Stuff like that, you'd think I would try to incorporate, but it's hard for me to remember that stuff because I'm the person who travels light. I bring them 3 books with me, and some graph paper. So
Gary, I agree with you. Gary said I want 10 times more stories than I want rules, and that's true. And please note, out of 130 legends and lores, this is the only time we've talked rules.
Yeah.
So please, I agree, but I think this is a good discussion to get out there and just say there's options for everyone, that no matter what
I
system
just
you're
thought,
playing.
I just thought of
agree.
some other things I have tried. I have tried True 20, Anna.
Oh, okay.
I had ran a Mutants and Masterminds campaign for several years.
Yeah.
True 20 is the same system, right? It's a D20.
Oh yeah,
based
it's
system.
like Savage World. You
That's
can run
the
it
only
different
dice you
genres.
use is D20s. And so I thought, well, I'll try to apply this True 20 system to keep on the Borderlands. We did a one-shot thing. Just it was a disaster.
Okay.
The players just blazed through it like it was nothing. First level characters using True 20, it was just too easy. So we dropped it.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is, I saw someone in chat, I can't remember who mentioned it, Warhammer Fantasy.
That's
the
Tim.
percentile based one.
Ah, that's an interesting one. Okay.
I loved that system. I always felt it had that Greyhawk feel, that dark.
It does.
Grim.
It does.
I always wanted
it's great,
to play my Greyhawk with it, but I didn't want to. I didn't want to do the work to convert it.
I was just going to say, then it's, if you, I'm looking at like Shadows of Esteren, Sumbaru from Free League Games, and some of the other ones, but then you have a lot of conversion to bring them over to Greyhawk. That's if you take one of the closely D&D related, there is much less, most of the work is already done. So
the big problem is the magic.
Exactly.
I think, however, now I could be wrong. I think that they did for Warhammer Fantasy.
Tim will know.
The 4th edition, which is a percentile base that is based off the 2nd edition. Could be wrong on this. I'd have to look at it specifically. They have a high fantasy version of it too, because I think the biggest issue with converting Greyhawk to Warhammer is the magic. Now, I've not looked at the high fantasy version magic, but that might fit the bill. So, and seeing how that those are the same rules, they might be interchangeable.
Yeah.
Because
now,
Warhammer regular rules.
Mass combat, give me Warhammer. If I have the minis, if I have the minis for it, let's do this. I use versus Fergani thing using Warhammer rules. Just battle it out.
Yeah.
That's another thing. I'm gonna toot my own horn. I can do mass combat or regular combat with my system. That's what we kind of converted to, and
you're just stoking the fire for you to play it.
I was just going to say, come on, bring us 1.2 point J here. So yeah.
All right, Rob, what are you doing in 2022?
So and for my personal game with my friends, it's going to be 5e because that's what they all want to play. It's fine. Keep doing that. I recently, the game that I'm running, the Friday Night Crusades game I'm running, we just recently moved them over to Greyhawk. They're currently operating out of the city of Hardby because I came to the conclusion that I needed
some blue
more
boxes
flexibility in terms of people, running it on Discord. That I needed flexibility because I have 8 players on average. It's an open game, so whoever shows up is going. If I have 16 or 17 registered players with characters. If they all showed up, I will take them all. I don't, it doesn't matter to me.
Better man to me, Rob.
So, and the funny thing is, we're supposed to be very casual. Let's roll some dice, kill some monsters, have some fun. No, they're all about, they're role playing their butts off. And I love it, but I want to be able to give them a game that is bit more tailored, and I don't have to worry about taking an adventure and figuring out how I'm going to make it work. I can just do stuff off the top of my head. But yeah, no, that they're like I said, they just moved over to Greyhawk. It's going to stay there. As far as like stream games, anything I do in Greyhawk for a stream game is going to be Castles and Crusades, unless I'm doing a guest stream and they want me to do something else. I might do 5e stream for a different campaign setting. I've got a couple of ideas, but anything Greyhawk is going to be Castles and Crusades because it's just, it's too easy to port stuff over. I have so much Greyhawk content from 1st and 2nd edition, and there's all the Dragon magazines and ideas that you've given Jay, things that you've done. why wouldn't I? I mean, I can do it trivially.
So here's my second caveat to that. What's the play style streamed Castles and Crusades? VTT, Theater of the Mind, or mini tabletop?
I'm doing right now. I am doing all of the the Friday night game right now is all Theater of the Mind.
Yeah, but
There is no VTT.
Streamed.
If the games I've streamed so far have all been Theater of the Mind.
Okay. Cool.
I've been running it all. Basically, I just run all in my head. I might have a little thing just trying to mark off a little idea, but it's all descriptions. I let them, because I don't want players to say, "Oh, I'm over here. I'm over here." If I want them to role play, I want to let their imaginations run away with it and let them describe what it is they're doing, where they are, and I'll just give them a general idea and let them go. It's if I got a hardcore, dungeon crawl type thing, I might do. I'm working on miniatures. I've got my my drawers of opportunity or potential or whatever you want to call them, and so many more coming in that eventually I'd like to set myself up to do it with miniatures, but that's going to be a lot of work to get myself figure out how to make that work. But I'm happy to do it Theater of the Mind. It's worked very well for the streams that I've done so far. So I'll just keep doing it until I have a better plan.
By the way, with that, Armin from New Zealand, right, started his Bissell campaign in Greyhawk using miniatures and really looked good. And that was on, and he's recently just joined the stream team. The Greyhawk created a stream team as well. So we're starting to get that group together. I think we got up to 11 or 12. We're going to keep on going as people bring up Greyhawk content. We'll make it open to them to get into that stream team. So very, very cool. So that's Rob. Here's my question, and I'll lead into Will next.
Sure.
Castles and Crusades is only on Fantasy Grounds right now, but if it was in another system, it was in another like Roll20 or Foundry, would that help?
No, I don't like VTTs for me personally, because let's put it this way. I've been in enough games where I played in Will's game where Will running a VTT is awesome. It's a great experience. He has it down. It doesn't get in the way. I've played in too many VTT run games where the VTT itself has gotten in the way of the game, and I don't ever want to do that to my players. I don't ever, I want to be able to concentrate on building the story for them and letting them, run with it and concentrate on doing the descriptions. I don't ever want them to, I don't ever want to get to the point where I'm just having them, go through a dungeon and I forget to describe things because we're all looking at the VTT. It's part for my benefit and for them. I want to give them a different experience because I don't have the time or energy to perfect my usage of a VTT to give them the type of game that I'd want to be able to give them.
And that's an important thing. I mean, I could never, for me, it would be a waste of time to learn one. Yeah. It just would be. I mean, because I'm never going to play that play style ever. I'm still going to play on my tabletop with everyone remoting in and me moving stuff. So, yeah, it's a good point there, Rob, and I appreciate that. And that
Pat 66 was saying that there's already a CNC sheet up on Roll20.
Well, they may have just started putting stuff up. So, Will, why don't you discuss what you're going to do starting in 2022 at some point?
Well, I'm talking with Chuck about using CNC to run in conjunction with our Kickstarter, because our Raven's Rook, aka Rook Roost, supplement book we're going to send to Kickstarter in February.
That's awesome.
Ooh.
And that is awesome.
So I was looking at doing getting a group together and running a stream which will spotlight Raven's Rook, but it's also going to spotlight the CNC rules. So I think the CNC rules would work really well. And I was talking with Chuck about that, about getting because I did not realize that there was a CNC a sheet up there currently. I haven't been able to find one, and they said, I think whoever was Pat 66 said it's not an official one though. so I
Right.
don't know what.
There it is.
No.
Just been linked by Calvi. So
Cool.
on a
So
yeah.
that was a big thing for me too. But
Yeah.
I had come to the decision that I could use the VTT. I didn't need the sheet.
Right.
So there you go.
The Controller game's got a lot of things in the works now, which is really good. So before we get to Anna, Will has a special surprise. Well, we'll see how much of a surprise.
I'm
But,
going to go ahead and put a link into it's
Ooh.
a sampler of the first, I think it's a first 11 pages
Okay.
of the Raven's Rook.
Oh, okay. Great.
It's a
Please do that.
PDF that you can take a look at what it is. Now, granted, it's still got to go through a final edit, but you can see
Very cool.
see that, like I said, the first 11 pages, you're going to see some of the art. You'll see now the cover that is on it it's some of the art that we have for it, but one of the things that we're taking it to Kickstarter for is that I want to get a very professional cover. And not that this art isn't great, but I'm looking for something more along the lines of dropping some serious
I don't know if that
cash.
linked together there, Will. It looks like it's
Did it go?
Yeah, it looks like it's half and half.
Looks that way. Here, I'll get it again here. And getting like the type of stuff that you see on the CNC new covers, those are just drop down gorgeous sort of things right there. So
and while Will's doing that, he has provided the Greyhawk community with how many of these paladins are there? 25?
25.
25
of
oaths, which I don't know what the heck that is.
It's not acceptable. The 25 are, you know what? I'm going to put that it's for whatever. It must be a Twitch thing. It's not accepting it. So I'm going to put it in.
Let me copy it and see. I don't know why it wouldn't.
When I did the copy paste of the entire thing and put it in a browser, it worked.
Okay, cool.
Just can't. Yeah.
So it's just not working as a link, even though it's supposed to.
Copy and paste it in, everyone. Copy and paste that in, please. Yeah.
I mean, it's funny. You talk about all those paladins that Will's doing. I mean, my 5e. The main reason I did Greyhawk in 5e to start with was because of people like Will and Joe Block, all of his 5e content. That was my big reason for saying, okay, I can do this because I've got support, unofficial support, but wonderful support for doing stuff in Greyhawk. It made life so much easier.
Yeah. So basically what an oath is. Okay. So in 5th edition, paladins are not the lawful good requirement,
more like crusaders of the deity,
right? So basically well, and it's not even really deity specific. That's what I did to make them Greyhawk.
Okay.
An oath is essentially it's a bond that they use. You can have an oath for essentially anything, and that oath is what gives them their powers and so forth. So all I did is I went, well, to make them Greyhawk specific, I would tie the oath to the deities and just make them religious warriors like we're sort of used to them being, but tie them directly to
champions of good windstorm.
Yeah. So they're champions of the deities of Greyhawk. And essentially what my criteria is it couldn't be lesser. So it had to be a greater deity or an intermediate deity, basically to power.
So no paladins of I use.
Correct. I use, on the other hand, that was the previous ones where I was doing, I took all the demigods and hero gods and they empower warlocks. So essentially warlocks are the ones that got that sort of power infused to them because it's a more of a limited sort of thing. So that's where, and there's like, I think there's, they have the warlock packs that they make with these demigods or what have you. Now, I think there's like 30, I can't remember the total number of warlock packs that I made, but I think it's around 30 that I made of those.
It's fantastic.
So, yeah.
So we have 25 of these. 25.
Yeah.
This is good.
25 of them.
What's your favorite? What's your favorite? I know you said Ruthnell was one of them, correct?
Erythnol, yeah, which was the last one because I had miscalculated. And Paul, was it Art the Cleric?
Arthur and the Cleric, yeah.
Yeah. I was putting it up, and he's like, no, it wasn't. It was Christoph. It was Christoph from Greyhawk Online. And he's like, I only count 24. I'm like, what are you talking about? So I go through and I kind of was like, oh, and what it wasn't, it was I was getting my lines crossed with Erythnol and Innocuous. And thank you, the plague guy. And I was like, oh, I thought I already did him, but I hadn't. So I went through and I did him. I like Zilchus. I like all the ones that, and if you'll notice, essentially what I was doing with this. Now, granted, you've got Tritherion, which was the first one that I did.
That one makes sense.
And because it's like, okay, so that's a good one. But one of the things I really wanted to focus on was religious warriors that are for deities that you don't necessarily think of having religious warriors. And what would these warriors, what are their jobs? Why are they there? So there's like, each one of them has, what is their supposed job within the in the world of Greyhawk? What do they fulfill for the deity? And and so it's the funnest part of it was coming through and trying to find different powers that connect with, make them unique and connect them with the deity towards the job they're trying to do. So yeah,
you have the same issue that I have had with specialty priests.
Exactly.
You can't, take, you wait, and you just did them. You did all these higher level ones. I can see, and they have to be distinctly unique, or then there's no reason to take it. And then but that's the good thing, is that these are done so well that I don't think you even need to be 5th edition. I think if you want to take and make a Crusader or a champion class in Pathfinder or in Castles and Crusades of Greyhawk deities, you could use this as a basis and back convert
for
it,
sure.
right?
Yeah.
So think about that, everyone.
Because it's just the oath, and a lot of these different things. If you're using essentially a system that is D20 based, and you're using something that is basically got a spell set that is based off of the Dungeons and Dragons spell set, well, you're pretty much going to have the same thing. There'll be minor differences, of course, because it'll be different editions, but yeah, for the most part, you could use it.
Yeah, absolutely, because there's some good data here of some ideas, and ideas are all you need to start, right? And that's why I wanted to share this with everyone. If you're 5th edition, it's right there. It's set right for you. Majority of people play 5th edition, and that's great. And now you have all these 25 pallies. You can. Are those available for purchase? Nah, they're free, man.
It's free.
They're
you
free.
Go on the go to the Greyhawk companion.com.
Yes, there you go.
And I will be releasing. I did do a combined version of all the Warlock packs. I have yet to put together all the Paladins there. But if you go onto the site, on the right-hand side, there's categories, and you just click into Paladins, and there they all are.
There they are.
Yep, in all their glory. And I've just started. I went through, and this surprised me. So I went through, and I was going to go into another class, because another people were asking me, are you going to continue on? What's the next one you're going to do? I was like, all right. So I was talking about it. Christoph put up a poll on Greyhawk Online. And so then I went and I did another one on my Greyhawk Adventures group on Facebook. I put one up on there as well. And I went through and just to see what would be the next one to come up. And it surprised me that Rangers won quite considerably. The next closest is even more surprising, was Monks. I didn't see that one coming either.
Yeah.
So Wizards came in third. I was like, I was very surprised.
Kind of like Paladin, I guess.
Right.
I love it. I mean, monks are a rare choice in my campaign, but they're they're memorable. Especially when they get past that 7th level, they can be very memorable characters, and so that's cool.
The hard thing for me, I was thinking about there. I put the Greyhawk link for the Paladins. You go right to
Awesome.
the Paladins
Thank
with
you.
that link there. Was with monks just don't fit in Greyhawk, in my opinion. There's a couple of places for them, but
Well,
everybody
remember,
likes it. It's like,
Zuoken's
oh man,
back now.
that'll take a lot of work.
The monk deity
Right.
is back, Zuoken. So
Uh-huh.
if you go by what happened in Expeditions Ruins of Greyhawk, he gets freed. Sorry for the spoiler there. And then the lawful, that aspect is out, and then that's the monk deity. So that's.
But that's only one. So I do one and I'm done.
Well,
There you
there's
go, guys.
I
Here's
think
your brotherhood.
I
Here's your
think
back
I
doing
think a
this
monk
shit.
is monk of Saint Cuthbert and a monk of Fultus are right there.
Yeah. So that would take quite a bit of
Yeah.
that'd take a little bit more work. All right, I'll do it though. What the hell?
Yeah.
Eventually.
But the Rangers are cool, man.
Yeah, I did the first one so far.
Okay.
So claim the fame. It's the Justicar. It's based off of the
Okay.
Justicar character from out of the novels. It's like a tip of the hat to that.
Cool.
And my claim to fame for it so far is Lawrence Schick decided to chime in on the Facebook group saying there is no such word as Justicar. It's Justicare or whatever, and he put in the official word from like 15th century England. It's enforcer of laws and what have you, and it's like, well, this is thanks. But it's a tip of the hat to the character from the books. That's why it's spelled the way it is.
Well, I wanted to share this. A lot of people may have not even seen these, and I wanted to say, great job.
Thank you.
More Greyhawk content, and that's what we're looking for. Is out
yeah.
there. We all have things. We've all, little tidbits. Your little part is all the community's looking for. And that's a great thing. So, but if we see Rangers, I'm excited about that. I mean, I love Rangers.
Yeah, I've been polling people as far as what they would like to see in Rangers, and I've gotten quite a few responses so far. So I haven't whittled them down, but we're up to about 23 different types of Rangers.
Great.
So we'll see if that many actually make it to print. But
Wow.
so.
Yeah.
So, okay. Well, Will, do you have a rough date when you're going to be back streaming Greyhawk? Even if it's a month or season. Spring?
What we're looking at is February.
Okay, great. So not too far out.
Wow.
Yeah, we're
Wednesday
looking at
nights again?
February. It'll be on Wednesday nights, yeah.
Okay.
And I'm not sure how long it'll be. Our streaming is probably going to be more intermittent now. So we'll stream for a while, we'll tell a story, and then we'll go into build for the next build up for the next story. And a lot of those might be tied with product releases nowadays. So like we're doing the Ravens Rook supplement now. I've got this the Ravens Rook supplement has backed up a bunch of adventures that are just sitting there waiting. So we'll probably do not the play test, but we'll play the adventures as they come out, sort of thing.
Awesome.
So yeah,
that is exciting. So Anna, have we made a decision yet, or are you still pondering?
No, I'm still. I will probably ponder, but there's
That's-
two likely candidates, so to speak, or one
CNC or
mishmash and
5e,
one. Yeah. It's CNC level up 5e, and I kind of I will probably run level up my own campaign, and then that's one option, or CNC. And I will probably hobble along with 5e the way I do for the most part of next year. But one of the other things is probably because I will run almost all my games. I run weekly games now, 1 or 2 per week, and then I'll run them virtually. That will be my future way of gaming. I think it has so many more benefits, and that way I can run with cool people I like from all over the world, so to speak. And but the tool I'm using, Fantasy Grounds currently, and that is probably going to change. I'm thinking about going very light Owlbear Rodeo.
Oh,
Just-
Albert, there you
Yeah,
go.
just moving
Yeah.
the tokens around, and
Josh Pop
and
uses
that will
out
be it.
there. I know.
Yeah, just moving the tokens around. What I would like to have
probably
is some
hiding
form
somewhere.
of digital character sheet. So some form, so the players can update their character sheet. I can look at it and see it, and some way to have that connection, so to speak. And I haven't figured out which way is the easiest way to have it. So if someone has some idea of how to get a character sheet synchronized that looks kind of cool, is functional. It doesn't have to have a lot of automation and stuff. And one of the reasons I want less automation is I want to be able to house rule things. And one of the problems with VTTs like Fantasy Grounds, Roll20 and stuff, when you automate things, it becomes an enormous burden to tweak a spell a little bit, or make a new cool spell class, or say, I want my necrotic damage and undead damage to work differently. All of a sudden that becomes an enormous hurdle of programming or whatnot. So I want to skip that bit, and I just want to move the tokens around and either roll digital die or roll hand roll dice. And then, but I would love to have some sort of synchronized character sheets. That will be a wonderful thing, to have a cool looking that they can keep track of their stuff, so to speak, and I can kind of see it and kind of keep track of it too. That will be the optimum. If I can reach that level, yes, I will be in heaven, so to speak. So when it comes to my play thing,
Is your current group amenable to changing?
Yes, they are. Yeah, I've talked about it. So we've talked about it. So yes, that's one of the reasons people. I kind of forewarn them, and I kind of tease them and torment them with this for the better part of a year. So we'll see. Yeah.
Everything takes time.
Yeah.
Morpheus, everything takes time. Let me tell you.
It's a big
hours in a
issue.
day.
Yep, it's a big issue. But for me,
right.
this is an important decision for me, so to speak. So it's not something I do lightly, because I want to convert and put all my world building and stat blocks and stuff like that down the line. I want to have one system and then run with it and do it. So this is a huge momentous decision. And the interesting thing is, when I started, that was all there was. There was the red box, and that was it. And then we moved into AD&D, and then second edition came out, and I just bought the books. I never thought about it. Third edition came out, and was like, okay, this is the way to play D&D. I just started buying the books again and played. Pathfinder was the first time I made a conscious decision to switch game system, because 4E came out. I played it a little bit, didn't like it, and then was, oh, we have Pathfinder, and so that was my first kind of conscious decision to switch. And now comes the second time, and now I'm old and dumb, or wise enough, I don't know which, to actually make an active decision again, so to speak, to switch.
Yeah, dumb, I would never say. I've seen some of the books you read to do your maps. That's far from what the problem is.
Yeah, so I'm kind of, so this is, I want to make an informed decision, so to speak, and that's why I'm not doing it lightly. So yeah,
you
so
might
I'm probably overthinking this. I'm an overthinker and galore, so to speak.
You might want to take a look at what third-party stuff is out there available to bolt onto those systems.
Yep. So you can cherry pick the cool things you want to use, so to speak.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly.
If you're not stealing, you're not trying.
Yep.
Right.
And let me say, a lot of people in the audience have done that, and a lot of them have. From my game, I know, like Michael Von Moku's added a lot of aspects of my game into his, which is really flattering and great, and I have no problem with that. But like with classes and stuff, make your own up, edit them. I'll give you some ideas, and that's the thing. Find like, go to Mike Shea, go to Matt Koval, whatever, publications. Bold it on. What's that?
So go to Mike. Don't go to Matt.
Well,
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to be all inclusive here. This is an all inclusive discussion tonight.
Oh yeah, and
yes, it's been, and this has been a very good discussion. I know that when we came on, there was a firestorm going on in Cannon Fire. I'm glad that we got by that and just there was no issue, So, and we'll keep it on.
Yeah, it's choose the right tools for you and your game group. That's the thing that suits you. That's how I think you should look at the rule system. It's one of the tools that should suit you and your players to play in the most fun way.
Crazy.
So to speak.
It was going on in circles about that, and I understand. So, everyone, let's do a synopsis of this part of the discussion. What you want to say to everyone in synopsis? I have old man stuff I got to take care of for 30 seconds to a minute. So I'll be right back. So Anna, go clockwise. All right.
I think one of the big dividers in this, if you play around the table or if you play virtually, so to speak. And that's one big thing. And then play style is the other big thing, meaning do you play a lot theater of the mind? Do you play miniature old school style with the stuff, or do you also want to connect to contemporary D&D culture and players and stuff like that? Then 5e is irresistibly interesting, so to speak, because it's the big 800-pound gorilla. So but I think it's something that you should look at from that perspective of as picking the right tool for you and your group and for what you want to play. I think that's the approach I want to emphasize, so to speak, that you pick it.
Well, the beauty of nowadays is like PDFs are pretty easy to get your hands on.
Yes.
So test, have your group should sit together and talk about what you would like to see in a game.
Yeah.
Find a couple of candidates.
Yep.
Get some PDFs and take them for a test drive.
They cost like 12, 15, 20 bucks maybe from most publishers, around between 15 and 20 bucks for the basic rules or the starter set, so to speak, PDF wise. And then run a test session or just some skirmish mock-up combat if combat is the key.
You know which one we haven't brought up at all that I think some people might want to take into consideration is Worlds Without Numbers. That's the new Kevin Crawford fantasy version. It's the same
World
guy
Without Numbers.
Who did
That's
Stars
another
Without
dark
Numbers.
horse here.
Who did Stars Without Numbers. Yeah. And here's the beauty of that one. You can get most of that stuff free.
Mm-hmm.
The print version is what he's charged for. So if you go on the drive-through and look up Worlds Without Numbers, you can get the core rulebook for free.
Yeah.
And you should get it regardless because of the simple fact that it has a ton of tables and charts and all kinds of different stuff for DMs to use. I mean, that alone is worth it.
I mean, that's, talking about the free. I mean, that's one of the things why I started the Friday Night Crusades game was the Player's Handbook. Trollord Games decided, at the beginning of the pandemic, they're giving away the Player's Handbook in digital format for free. And,
that's smart.
It's never going to go, because they don't change their rule set, it's never going to stop being useful. There's no time limit on it being useful. And honestly, from a castle keeper's perspective, again, you get the Monsters and Treasures book, or if you want to convert your first and second edition monsters to it, but the Player's Handbook is all you need. As far as the players go, they don't need anything else. And you don't need, the Castle Keeper's Guide, it's nice. It's got supplemental stuff. Don't need it. Don't have to, you don't have to have it.
Well, look at it this way too. You get the CNC Player's Guide, and then everything published in second and first edition is also material.
Yeah. And that's
something right there that is a huge seller for CNC. If you're an old school player, or if you just have access to all that old stuff, that's all material that you can use.
And I am.
Yeah, right.
It's like suddenly all my content, all the stuff that I bought 30 years ago, all came back into play in just one fell swoop. It's like, it's great.
That's the wonders of D&D is you can just continue to build and build and build and build over time, right? And then pick and choose. I've said this 100 times. Is CNC? Gary's got a question. I forgot what I was going to say. I completely forgot what the hell I was going to say. See, I'm getting old there too. I'm like, no two DMs I've ever met are the same.
Yep.
They're not. No two DMs or style are the same. So is CNC objectively the best fit for Greyhawk these days? I'm going to say no. I'm going to say my version's the best fit, Gary.
I would say
you can't do that until you publish it, Jay.
Exactly. Yes.
As soon as J.5 or whatever we're calling it at this point, as soon as you release that for general use for everybody else,
I got to figure out how to do that without getting slapped down by WotC.
Yeah.
So, it's easy. It's easy. They've got the
I'm kidding.
license.
Yeah.
The open gaming license. There you go. You got no excuses, Jay.
Yeah, I know. I'm working on some published stuff.
Yeah, but
you know what you do, Jay? You put your release date a year after your retirement. Say this is when J.0 is coming out.
Oh my gosh! So that's 7 years.
Yeah.
There you
Oh
go.
my gosh.
No, but I want to answer Gary's question. I think that CNC is definitely up top
It's good.
two when it comes to running Greyhawk. I think that there might be competition with others, meaning you can run it in Pathfinder, you can run it in Level Up 5e, but Castle on Crusades is definitely among the top published systems today that you can easily convert into. And one of the benefits is that most of the Greyhawk material is like first edition, and some of it third edition, and you can easily convert that into to CNC. But you can also easily convert it into 5e and Level Up too. So and Pathfinder as well. So yeah.
So Rich says his system's the best, but I don't see Troy calling him vain. I get called vain, but not Troy. But I mean, but not Rich. So
yeah, basic fantasy. Pat 66 said basic fantasy role playing. You could run it in that. You definitely could.
Oh
and
yeah.
If you want a cheap way of
good.
going,
yeah,
that's another way of doing it.
Yeah. You.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think it's whatever works for you and your group. It could be 5e, it could be Pathfinder 1, 2, it doesn't matter. Yeah, because every group's different, and that's a thing. And Rich has done a lot of tailoring of his system. I've done a lot of tailoring with mine. I'm assuming none of you run pure. Maybe Mike does. Pure, no rule variations with your game. So, Mike, how about your 5e? Is there anything you change?
Someone mentioned in the rules earlier about attunement. We tend to ignore attunement.
Right.
It's simple. I don't give any magic items, so that's not a problem. Yeah.
Well, they got to be first or certain level.
Yeah.
Oh my God,
Get
that's
some
so
goodies
funny.
first.
It's awesome.
They barely get XP, so yeah.
It's true.
Yep.
But no, that's about
It's
it.
simple. I don't need
The
much of a
characters
rule
are third
system.
level now,
Yeah.
though, Anna, right? Third?
Oh yeah, they're soon fourth levels.
There you go.
Wow.
Yep.
Yeah.
So in a way, I can skip this. I barely need a rule system. I don't give them anything, so I'm
There
a
you go.
cruel DM anyway. So yeah.
Rob, did you have a closing? Mike, Rob, did you have closings?
For 5e, I mean, 5e Greyhawk, I do 5e added on content because the content's there. 5e, for the most part, I actually kind of run rules as written. Let's put it this way. Every once in a while, it'll be something like I'm not quite as skill check heavy as some DMs are. I try to do less rolling, but I don't know that that's necessarily modifying. It's just basically I just decide that there are certain things a character should know. They should be able to do without having to check for it. But other than that, I mean, other than the custom Joe Block and Will's content, I'm pretty much going as written for 5e. For Castle Crusades, that actually mix up a bit depending on whether it's a campaign or a one shot, because there's some interesting stuff. Like I didn't realize that in base Castle Crusades, a 20-sided roll of 20 is not a critical of any type in the base rules. I did not know that. I had accidentally nearly killed a character twice at first level because I kept taking him from 12 hit points to 0 because I thought it was double damage, and I just happened to roll max damage. And we went and looked, and he's like, there's no crit based thing, but we decided to talk to the party what they wanted to do, and we decided max damage on a 20. So 20 means something, but we're not doing, at this point, we're not doing double, not double dice or double damage or whatever.
Okay. So everyone has little tweaks. And I think the synopsis and the final thing you can say is that we wanted this to be thought-provoking. That's it. Doesn't matter. There's no better system over another one. But here's some ideas with that you can apply to your game, and there's no reason you can't make changes. There's no reason to the systems. There's no reason you can't go to a whole new system. Look at Anna. Anna's maybe on her third system in a year, within a whole year time frame, right?
Yeah, it might be.
So,
but so
it's okay.
so it's kind of ad hoc, and I don't run the game just the way I want to. So I want to move to a permanent solution.
Gary's so blunt too. It provoked thoughts of a better topic. That's funny. You run out. You do. You know what I mean? We're trying. I will close my eyes and go to 2011 next time when Mike's. Boom. And I'll press to see what we come up with in 2011.
See, it's only not a good topic to Gary because he's set with his system. That's why it's not a good topic.
Okay. And there's also a lot of new people here, and we want to make sure that they all understand that we're not old grognards thumping no 5e. And that's not the case here at all. So. Is there do you guys use the Bright Desert? Of course. How could you not use the Bright Desert? Larry's hanging out there in my game to this day.
Well, it's the right side of the map. What if you were on the eastern side of the map? You can use it. So yeah.
That's right. I don't know. I leave the eastern side of the map to Asher.
So you can never go to a Hippona
and to
land
Will and to Kate, all that. They can have the east side of the map.
Jay's eastern side of the map is absolutely pristine because he's never unfolded it.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
So I thought this was a wonderful discussion, and I hope we all got a lot out of it. And thank you. I mean, we're hovering around 100 people.
Thank you everyone who helped.
Yeah.
Yep.
Absolutely. And note that if there's something you want from any of us, just ask. If you need more of Will's stuff or need links, or you want my stuff, or you want something from Anna or Rob for CNC, Mike for blogging posts, discussion, please. Yeah, thank you, Scott. I really appreciate
I'm going to post the sampler up on the Greyhawk companion, and I'm also going to do it in Discord for Greyhawk Online in Cannon Fire. I was just waiting until after tonight before I put it out.
Awesome.
So
awesome. And
Gary said it here first.
Gary wants to hear more about Will and Phantom's Greyhawk campaigns, which is great. But yes, so got what do you mean? Got to win a lotto ticket? A lotto ticket will not be enough to buy it from WotC. Trust me on that. So note, there is something. Well, I'll say it during shout outs. So we'll do some shout outs here now, and then we'll do the giveaways, and then I think we're gonna raid into Guild Superior tonight. I think he's running Greyhawk tonight, isn't he, Rob?
I believe so. I know he's running tonight. Because I think it's his Beyond Salt Marsh thing.
Yeah, if he is, then we'll definitely raid into him. Mike, what's going on, man?
Marsh.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Here you go, Meerkat. Let me get you the Discord. There you go.
What's going on?
It's kind of
well, obviously, I'm already planning for the next Wednesday's topic, right?
Yeah? You have a topic for us?
Yeah, I actually have a list.
All right. Look at that. So offline, we'll get a topic up for next week.
There you go.
There you go.
But no, otherwise, we're getting into Christmas, New Year's, all those fun game night wrecking holidays.
That's true. And it's on the weekend this year, so
darn them. Gotta do something with the family, but no, just the usual for old Mike.
There's nothing wrong with that, man.
Yep.
Appreciate the topics for the last 2 weeks right off the site, but it sounds like Mike's got some others. So I'm planning on having Legend Lore. I'm planning on having Legend Lore next Wednesday. Right. The Thursday night game's up in the air, close to Christmas, but Wednesdays the Legends Lore will be on. So, Rob, thank you, Mike. Rob, what's going on?
Oh, jeez. So yeah, I mean, I'm trying to figure out for the new year what I'm going to be doing with my stream. Between now and New Year's is, just hoping to be able to get some time to actually do some planning. But in terms of stuff going on, I've got a podcast, a live play, actually it might be a recorded play podcast that I'm playing on somebody else's podcast. More details to that to come. I don't have all the details for that yet. Stuff on Kayla's channel, probably going to end up running a game sooner or later, either a 1 or 2 shot, as needed. But yeah, trying to figure out what I'm doing for Castle Crusades. I've got Friday Night Crusades still going. Like I said, 8-9 players every single week. And I have never laughed harder running a game consistently than I do at these people. It is so much fun. And now that we're in the world of Greyhawk and I'm more in my element in terms of what I can do with the characters, it's going to get very interesting very quickly.
Awesome. And thank you so very much for participating tonight. Hope
Oh, thank you for having me. This has been a lot of fun.
information is power, and I think the Greyhawk community is really getting stronger and stronger every day, and that's a big positive. So I'm gonna go to Anna next, because then she's got pressure because Will's after her.
Okay, good. Yeah, so I don't go up too long. Well, first of all, I'm right now. I'm stuck in with a work finishing up for Gryffindor Games that was supposed to have been done like a couple of months ago, but it dragged on for other unfortunate reasons. So that's why I have to be kind of busy doing that most of the days right at the moment. I released a big batch of heraldry a couple of days ago that got a lot of good comments, so thank you a lot for that new heraldry. And there will be a Greycast episode that I think will come next week, I think on Monday. That will be me. I've had an interview with the Wily
Cool.
Hobbit and Mateus talked about Shieldlands, so that one is coming. I
Nice.
think that's the next one to come. It might be that they have it 2 weeks, but I think it's the one that's going to come mid-December now, and so that is coming. And there will be a new preview of the where they have Mona Land and the whole shebang again in probably about a week, so roughly about Christmas time. That will be the next preview, and I will do between Christmas and New Year's. There will be a public preview for everybody to see. So I need to get it out there so people can start looking at it a bit. But that will be not that many changes, but new terrain will be there and stuff. So that is coming. So and then so then I have my edition stuff to look at and stuff, so on. And I will be involved in a whole bunch of streams this week too, so that Jay will talk about in a second here. So yeah.
Lots going on.
Yep.
Lots and lots of great stuff. I may get to kill Anna's character tomorrow night if I'm lucky.
Yeah.
Just kidding. So that's it.
Yep, that's
wow.
it.
All right, now Anna, thank you.
In history. Yep.
Awesome.
It's the end of the year.
Yeah, so I'll run it down. Let's go to Will. Finish this up.
Well, like we were saying earlier, I finished with the Paladins over on the greyhawkcompanion.com, and after polling the public, we are diving into Rangers. I did the first one was the Justicar, which is tip of the hat to the character from the novels, the Greyhawk novels that he was the main character in. I think the next one will probably be the Jeff Giant Slayer Ranger, but I'm not 100% on that. So I'm continuing on with that. And then, like I said, we're busy doing the layout currently. The Raven's Rook Roost city supplement book, it's done. It needs one final edit, but we have all the art for it except for a cover, which is one of the reasons we're going to take it to Kickstarter in February. So, but we're busy diligently working the layout of that to finish that up. And then once that's finally done and we get the Kickstarter started, we'll go into Echoes of a Dark Past, which is the next adventure that's sitting there waiting to get finished. And then we'll go into I don't want to really say anything too much about the other ones, but because Echoes of Dark Past is on Fostwood, and then we've got something coming up with a Dwarven dungeon. It's like the first couple levels of somebody was talking about no Dwarven mega dungeons. I think I maybe heard somebody saying something about that, so that's in the works. So that's basically what I'm working on right now. And of course, I almost forgot the streaming in February. We're trying to get that all worked out to do a little CNC with the release of the Raven's Rook supplement in February. So we don't have dates pinned down yet. So there's a lot of little points that need to get worked out. So, but I think that's about it. I'm sure I forgot something, but that's okay.
So note Will's Wicked Steer is part of the Greyhawk Creatives team we have set. Always bookmark that. All your Greyhawk streamers and crafters and associate live streams all in one touch of a button to see who's on. So and that was the number one thing I was excited about getting when I was when I became partner, and now it's a reality. Troy also says thank you for your recognition of Dan Smith for artists.
Yeah, Dan Smith is he's such a stud. You
Mm.
know, it's like every once in a while,
Very cool.
you run into an artist. Mike, you could probably understand this. You ever talk with somebody and you got your artist eye and you got it in your head, you know what you're thinking about, and then you say it to somebody else and they draw it and it looks just like you were thinking it was supposed to look like. And it's like, oh my God, he's so good. He's so good.
Awesome. Thank you all. I'll make it quick. I don't know as quick as Anna though. Anna set a bar here. All right. So tomorrow night, a one-shot Order of Ulick campaign, number 935, called Supply Run. So Mike Disney and Anna Meyer will be special guests remoting in. It'll be I only have 2 of my players at the table, but I should have the ever mysterious Tim remoting in as well. So we will have him and Skarn's character is trying to solve a problem out of Wolfmaster Keep, and they're going to go on a supply run with at least this is weird. There'll be at least 3 dwarves in this party, which is really cool. Maybe 4, which is neat if you saw some of the pictures. And Anna will be playing Imri, so we'll see them. We'll see some of the other really cool characters. There will also be a Dark Elf player character in here too, Clark Mage Thief, a good one, which I've had for years. So it's just, my gosh, it's like I know all this stuff going on with the changes of that is kind of ridiculous, but because we've always had it. There's always that rare good Dark Elf. Sir Reginald Rathmore David Errol, Champion of the 4th, Defender of the Faith, and Vanquisher of the Unrighteous will be played by Tim tomorrow night. It's a big night for Tim's character. If he survives, he surpasses his Paladin level. He'll be 8 Paladin, 9th Mage, and he gets the abilities of both finally after all these years. That character's like 35 years old in real time. So finally he'll get both abilities at once. That is tomorrow night. Notice Gamescape 3D. Big packet of STLs given away tomorrow night. We'll throw in a Reaper one for someone who's not doesn't have a 3D printer. So we got some really good giveaways tomorrow night. Monster Show Friday night. Publisher's Perspective. Zach Glazer of Frog God and Stephen Chenault of Troller Games will be joining us, along with Alyssa Faden, Anna Meyer, and myself. Monster Show, at least 12 giveaways. This was Alyssa's idea. Let's have a holiday cheer show. So you want to be on to make this our largest ever viewed Legends and Lore, and we're going to talk. We're going to talk about the wonders of the publisher and what they're looking for in map making. So not a specific Greyhawk link, but it'll be a really nice link to the industry on there. Hopefully everyone can join us on Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern for that. Another Saturday night special. The Slav Squad returns. I didn't name it. So, Tom, thanks. And Tom can't make it tomorrow night, but he will be. Tom, you just gave you just gave gifts of the Reaper miniatures. That's pretty cool. On that, thank you so very much, Tom, as he will be missing the game. So we got the Mandy, we got Little Bones, who was on earlier. MJ Russell is new, first time she's ever playing old school and playing in my game. Myriad, who's done both Myriad and Mandy are doing artwork for the characters. You may have seen the Carl Spacklerleaf and Zarathon. Josh is the jester of the group, you could say, the brunt of the joke. Here is, I have to show this to everyone. Here is Greyhawk. Also, this is such a great job. This is Carl Spacklerleaf's character. There you go.
Oh,
So I got that going for me.
Exactly. And I just blanked out everything here by opening that up. My bad. That was me. I hit a wrong button and everything goes down when you touch certain things and it split. So yeah, there you go. Carl Spacklerleaf will be where'd it go? There you go. There's Carl. Yep. Carl Spacklerleaf is back. The Archer Druid, a weird mix. So with the hat. So gonna be fun. That'll be, and we'll have stratagem Wiz Dice giveaway, Titan dice, and big bags of 140 dice, and on Saturday, and then Sunday. I had it here. But see, I hit. This is what happens when I do dumb shit. There we go. I put these up as guests. Hopefully Tim can make it, but we're going to talk. Go back to what I do in Greyhawk. We're going to talk about the Elementalists because it's been. I think it was Gavin 27 was the last time I talked about my Elementalists and how to create a custom spellcaster for any of you for Greyhawk campaign development, and that'll be on Sunday night. It'll be a fun discussion. Yeah, a little something for the effort. Yes. So Josh will be full of those one quoters all night long, guaranteed. What a fun group. Yeah, and it's good to have dice. And this will finish up 5 streams, 5 nights, and we'll have that discussion. And next week we'll figure out what nights we're on. I'll worry about getting through this week, and then we'll talk about what we're going to be on next week. Let's do the giveaways, everyone. Does that sound good? And thank you all for being patient there. And look at that. It's only 10:12, so it's not super duper late.
It's thanks to me. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Tom, that was really kind of you. Thank you. Last call to get in the 2 giveaways. You have your choice: Tomoacon and Desert Nomads by Zeb Cook, or Ghost Tower of Inverness and Quagmire. All right, they'll be the ones we'll be doing tonight. And if you're overseas, I'll figure something out. That'll be so that I don't get slammed. We'll figure something out. But Canada's fine, but if you're UK or Australia or something, we'll figure something out there. Hey, Mesmer's cool. You got to come up. We'll talk about that Sunday night, Ashrin. How to create a couple custom class. I've done multiple ones in the recent Greyhawk Mage, Shadow Mage. It's not that hard to do. So, Tom, you'll be missed tomorrow night, but thank you. For that, and you'll be here in spirit. I know that this is a tough time of the year for a lot of people, just working and all sorts of things going on. I'm setting up, closing this out. Gary, you're in already. I know that for a fact. You're in already. I saw you in the listing. I see your name right here. Closing this out. Here we go. Casey, you're in too. I saw you. The first winner, Delduath 73. Delduath 73. Who's on in the chat listing? I see you. So Delduath 73. Which one do you want, Delduath? Do you want Ghost Tower or do you want the Tomoacon packet? You tell me. The second winner gets the other one, which is Rich Longitalos. So whichever one Delduath does not want, Rich will get. Tomoacon, you got it. So Rich, you get Rich, you get Ghost Tower and Quagmire. All right.
Congrats.
Yep. All right. Very cool. Fun times. Rich getting richer. Congrats to everyone. Thank you. Please sit tight and say hello over at Guild Superior. They are running Greyhawk content. Delduath, I think I have your address, but just make sure you put it in whisper, full name and address. I'm almost positive I have Rich. Send it to Rich's sisters. What, is she in the U.S.?
Yeah.
Man, I'll get with Rich on that. So you never know. They'll only be there in 6 months, right? What am I doing here? Completing that. Leave that open. Thank you, Rob. Thank you, Will. Thank you, Anna. Thank you, Mike. And thank you, community, for what a fun, what a wonderful first night of the week for me streaming. Really appreciate it. It means a lot to support. Things are going really well in the community. Let me tell you something. The floodgates have kind of opened. I forget who I told this, but I got asked by at least 20 people at the con if they could play in games. Now, I mean,
see, there you go.
Yeah, it's also a lot of collaborations, a lot of reach outs from some other. I got interviewed by another channel there. So let's use the momentum and keep this thing going for Greyhawk. And if you have suggestions, or please reach out to me because we want to just keep on rolling here forward and make this use the momentum we have and get some reach out into some avenues that we really should. Discuss and chat with some specific people. Yeah, you want me to do that again? Here, this should work again, Rich. Let me do that real quick. That should set it up right there. I'm not going to Hollywood, Rich. No, I can't. No, I can't do that, man. No way. No, no,
What's
no,
wrong with
no.
Hollywood?
Nah, I want to keep things rolling along
Yeah,
the way they
do
are.
Gygax, Gary,
No, I
and
don't
go
want to pull
to
that,
Hollywood.
man. I don't want to do that. So
So if Luke asked you to fly out there and run
Yeah.
a game for him and his buddies, you wouldn't do it?
of course I would.
Okay,
Yeah, see,
well,
there you
just
go.
checking.
Luke is an exception because I know Luke personally. He's DM.
Yeah.
I've played with.
He's awesome.
I've DM'd for him. I told him he couldn't do a Malsasset hour at range. So
Yeah. And he came back after that. So you're
and
good.
he came
Yeah.
back after that too. All right. So great news. Tim's daughter is playing tomorrow night. So the return of. Are you ready? A Pixie player character, Pocket Stinkle, will be in my game. So
Ooh.
yes, we'll
Wow.
have her Pixie thief. So there you go. Isn't that Casey? Yes, I slapped down the Gygax on a range issue. So kumquats for the win. All right. Oh, no problem. See you everyone tomorrow night, 7:30. One shotter. With a lot of special guests in, and it'll be fun. It'll be you want to talk about it? Think of hack and slash, get it done in one night. So, talk to you all soon. And my son's summoning me here for some reason here. So Jay's gonna hit the wrong button here. I know it. Boom. All right. Thank you,
Bye,
Single.
everyone.
Reign in the Guild Superior. Let me set it up real quick. I'll be right back. I did finish this up. Wow. 90. That's awesome. 5,
Wow.
4, 3, 2, 1. See you tomorrow night. Thank you. That's awesome.
That's great. Great numbers.
Why is it
Tell me
connected?
that the Greyhawk companion comes back as red unstable. Yeah, I'm like, it's hosted by Weebly. Why would it be red unstable?